guys to sit as jury members. And at the end of this, we're going to vote guilty or not guilty, or something similar to that, right? So I want you guys to be fair. I want you to be balanced. So I need you tuned in, laser focused. And I think it's going to be, I know it's going to be educational. If you haven't heard this presentation, it's going to be amazing. But I think he's over the target. I really do. Speaking of which, what's up, man?
We're good. You can hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. You look good. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. I should have put a white shirt under it, Dago T. I just didn't want to. But I got one of my Crime Con shirt.
Way to go, Jay.
Jay Crime.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You said bring the evidence.
I'm telling you.
I got this bag from Crime Con. I'm like, this is perfect.
It. Hey, who's the guy in the corner back there, Jay?
That's my stuffed mummy. That's my grandfather.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got a
I like that.
All right, I just got to get this back on live. I'm using my wife's account because you got to set it up through here. And then I could see all my comments through this screen right here. So now I got this thing far away from me.
What you do best, man, is set it up. We'll fill in some time as you're waiting. Jay, while you're working, concentrate on what you're doing. But this is how I want to run this tonight. The folks are going to be the jury, Jay. They're going to take notes, and they're really going to put their heart and soul into listening and watching your presentation. At the end of this, we're going to have the jury vote in a poll. So you got to bring your A game as always.
No problem.
And guys, as you come in, I'm going to ask you again, please share this out. Share it as much as you can. I want to get this out on the FYP. We got to get the hearts going, guys, because the more likes, if we get up around 100,000, they'll start blasting it out on the FYP. So share, and work your fingers, guys, so we can get this blasted on the FYP tonight. To me, it's super important. I mean, this guy's put, his family and his team's put a lot of time in this, and I really want to do a solid and make sure it shows up on the FYP, because the more people that see and hear this, the better for the case. So share and like.
Definitely, we need a lot of taps, guys. We got to get the taps all the way up to like 50K right away.
I want 100K right away.
Yeah, we got to get it.
Blast it. Hey, I was just kind of digging through the internet today, and had this case on my mind, Jay. And it's so evident to me, coming from my background, there's so many fake Zodiac stories, so many fake claims, and a lot of misinformation that I just picked up just Googling and watching a few videos today. I was amazed at all the misinformation out there.
I just lost. Okay, there you are. I lost sound for a second.
I was just saying, I was amazed by just the sheer amount of misinformation that people are just regurgitating. That's, Jay, really and truly is not even close to being over the target. So you're in a unique position tonight.
Yeah.
The only problem I have is the camera. Can you mirror the camera? The text on the TV monitor is backwards.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Give me 1 second. I had it right, but I didn't have the 18 and up thing, so I had to go back live.
I got you.
Awesome.
And let me know when you're ready, Jay.
I'm ready.
All right, guys, let me do a proper introduction here. And I'm going to be very short because we're short on time. I want to make sure all this gets in. But I had met Jay Crime 3, 4, 5 months ago, he came into one of my lives one night, and I got to tell you, I'm like, okay, here we go, another nutcase, a whack job. He's going to try to pitch the Zodiac case on us, right? Another misinformation, fake case. And I really truly blew him off. I listened, I was respectful, but I didn't put anything into it. But here's the deal, guys. I started scrolling and I started seeing this guy in his presentation. Every time I scroll, I would see Jay Crime running his show, right? So I started stalking him.
Oh, yeah.
And after twice of intently listening, I'm like, okay, I want the guy back on my show. So we had Jay on here. We had the homicide guru, Rick. And Rick is convinced Jay's over the target. I'm totally convinced. And without further ado, fresh out of CrimeCon, Jay Crime and his Zodiac case, which I think you have it solved, brother. And I'm going to let you take it away.
I appreciate it. That sound just cut out. You still hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Okay, there's just a little delay. No problem. Well, I'm Jay Crime 00. That's what I go by. I actually created this TikTok.
Jax444. Do me a favor. I got what you say. I'm with you, Jax. All I ask is give us 45 minutes. You'll be hooked, and you'll understand why this is still being broadcast. It's one of the most iconic crime mysteries, I think, in American history, Jax. So give us a chance, be part of the jury, and give this thing a fair shake, Jax. All right, Jay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, I come out of a private life, after doing about 3 years of research into my grandfather. And we couldn't find anything to rule him out. But if we go back 5.5, almost 6 years, it actually started just from a ride with my mother. I picked her up from Indianapolis, Indiana, and we took a ride to Chicago where I reside. And along that ride, she had mentioned that she was watching the news, saw the sketch, which reminded her of her father and reminded her that she was living in that area during that time frame. She was a military brat up into the age of about 15, 16. Now, it was a quiet ride home after that, let me tell you that. But the first person I contacted is my wife, Melissa Rose, and we, she likes genealogy and research and stuff like that, and she ended up, confirming that she indeed went to school there. Found her picture in the Alameda High School that confirmed that, and and between what she was doing some background with the family, I was looking at all the information about these cards that were sent in and all these puzzles this guy had made that just really didn't make no sense at first. After a while of looking into this and digging into it, my wife found that his mother was a newspaper correspondent for the North Lewisburg, Marysville, Ohio paper. So you can go on newspaper.com and find many articles where she goes on record saying, when he's home, when he's on leave, when he's going to war, and specifically when he's on the USS Enterprise ship when it explodes January 14th, 1969. Now, before all that, all I knew about my grandfather, that he was in the military, and I heard stories that he was on this ship and he had a choice to stay on the ship, burn alive, or jump into the water and get eaten by sharks. That's the story. That's all I knew. Moving forward, we got my mother to file the FOIA requests, and it took about 18 months to. What is going on here? So it took about 18 months, to to receive it. And basically, after looking at it, we've noticed that
We got you back, Jay.
yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom's elderly, so she's trying to call me. So after 8 months, after studying the records, we found some really crazy dates. The same dates that he re-enlists are the same dates this Zodiac sends these letters out. Like he's almost ending one thing, going away to begin something new. So we also see that in his records, the 6 and 8 month gap between the crimes, and that's when he's off to Vietnam. Okay, and then he comes back and the crimes continue. He's off to Vietnam, and then the crimes continue. Okay, a lot of people are stuck on Zodiac activity. 68, 69. We got some letters and some cards after that. Some people say it's not him, it may be him. There's a lot of different letters that were written, and a lot of it don't make sense to a lot of people. And the only way it really makes sense is you have to have the right person to fit this. And only one person will fit the timeline and have the same career as my grandfather, who was demoted at one time for stealing fishing equipment and basically got in trouble. Did 3 months in the Briggs or whatever, the clinker. Yeah, they would say, he got demoted, dock pay. Thank you. And
Guys, let's share this thing out, please.
So we ended up getting across some YT people because we were like, hey, check it out. We did an interview, and it wasn't enough for them, and we just kept digging. So after studying his records, I realized that the Z13 seems to me like his military career from left to right. My grandfather was on a Scorpion squadron. He was on the Zappers, the Z13 Zappers. We know that the Zodiac sent in a Z13 cipher. So I'm like, what's the chances of this, So, when you look at, let me find this, this, I know I put this in here somewhere, and I got to find it. But if I don't want to waste too much time, but I have a lot of crap on here that kind of fits in there. And I just want to find that Z13, the Z13. I don't know if you can pull it up on your screen, or you have a laptop. Everybody's got a laptop in front of them. But I'm going to try to find the Z13. And I guess I would have been more prepared as bringing the Z13 up. I actually know that I actually put it in my TikTok account, but I actually know it by heart. I could do a search in where? On here? Oh, okay. Oh, well, got those assistants from the wife. Oh, all right, Z13, if that works. Oh, there you go. There's the Z13. That's not the exact one, but it shows from left to right, all these letters here. I think there might be one more here. Let me just double check. Okay, here it is. Perfect. Thank God. All right, so what I want to show you, okay, now this isn't the original one, okay, but this is what I come out with. When my grandfather got into the Navy in 1954, he got into aviation electronic navigation. As you can see, it's AEN, okay? Then you have a zodiac symbol. Now, I believe the zodiac symbol, when you think about zodiac, think about sign. When you become a pilot, you get a call sign, okay? So we have aviation electronic navigation. He gets his call sign. And then there's a circle symbol, which I believe is a lifesaver. Every ship has a lifesaver that you could throw in the water, put it around you. Okay, that's representing a ship. Then you have a K for Korean tour. This is what he does in a row. And then you have the next circle symbol, which is representing the next ship. Then you have the M for the Mediterranean tour. Then you have the circle symbol again, representing the next ship. And that's where we go into when he was on the USS Enterprise ship, January 14th, 1969. When the ship blows up and it's anchored, okay? Then he ends his career as a naval aviation mechanic, okay? Now, putting this in order, it's kind of like going back in time as we learn stuff, as we receive stuff, as we, dig into stuff. But I'll give you a really good example here of what we believe. The references, the Zodiac claims 37 victims. And what does the USS Enterprise ship have to do with this, have to do with him, have to do with these cards and these letters? Well, I'll show you. This here, I'm not sure if you can see this very well.
Right there. Right there.
Okay. This here, okay, is January 14th, 1969. The U.S. Enterprise ship blows up. 314 men are injured. 28 men die by fire. My grandfather jumps off this ship where this bomb goes off. It unalives the fuel driver. It unalives one of his guys in his squadron. He jumps into the water to save his own life. Okay? Now, why is this important? Well, number one, the Zodiac references the movie The Most Dangerous Game. In the beginning of the movie, the ship blows up, they jump into the water, they get eaten by sharks, then they swim to shore, and then they're chased by a guy and man, and man being the most dangerous game of all. Then the Zodiac references a piece of the Mikado play, just a piece where it says he plunges himself into a billowy wave, tittle, tittle, tittle. Well, my grandfather lives this out. Now, the U.S. Navy, you can go on YT and look up trial by fire. Okay? That's what they call it, trial by fire. Now, we believe that attribute to the Halloween card, which is right here. Okay? The Halloween card says, by fire, by gun, by rope, by knife. Now, Zodiac claimed 37 victims. There's 5 confirmed by gun, rope, and knife, 4 unconfirmed by gun, rope, and knife. That's 9. Where's the other 28 by fire? That would be the ship that he was on. This is a confession card. Now, if you really look closely, it also says on this card, it says, I feel it in my bones. You ache to know my name, so I'll clue you in. Now, if you look closely in the hand, there's an OK sign with the number 14 in it, saying, I'm okay, January 14th. His mother goes on record saying he's okay when he jumps into the water. Now, it says, I feel it on my bones. You ache to know my name. Well, if you notice closely, the pumpkin on the groin, okay, that was placed there, cut out from another card, okay, covering the groin. My grandfather, they called him LD. Look at the right arm, L. Look at the left arm, D. Let's look at this pumpkin, right? Let's remove the pumpkin. And what does this remind you of? An H. Loringdale Hill. Now, what we also find in his mom's records online, where she writes in the paper, she writes, don't forget your dollar for your secret pal gift exchange. Okay? Very interesting, right? So we have those records where she says, don't forget your dollar for your secret pal gift exchange. Everything comes from somewhere. Something's got to be attributed from something. Everybody's a copycat somehow, okay? So we show that. Now, if you give me one moment, I want to really concentrate on what this guy looks like, okay?
Jay, can I stop you really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to give the people the chance to ask some questions along the way. But I have a question for you. I don't want you to go for any trade secrets, but how did you decipher all of this?
That's a really good question, Jamie. Well, there was a teacher.
Before you answer that, don't give any secret away for copycats, but if it's something that you feel comfortable answering.
I feel that if the only way to figure out the rest of it is you have to have his records. Because there was a teacher and spouse that solved, I believe, the 408, but they couldn't figure out 18 of the last characters. I believe that he did that for a reason, to test the waters, okay? Figure out these cryptic messages, but not the last 18. Then he writes the 340. Then I believe a computer science guy figured that out, okay? Then you have the Z32, which has not been figured out. And then you have the Z13, and there's even a Z5, okay? I believe that it's symbolically connected to the actual things that he did and the activity that he did to connect him from one crime to the next, to the next, to the next.
Jay, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm taking you serious, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a hunk of burning love here.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot more to what we have, but I don't believe that he was going to tell you his name. He's giving you ideas of who he is, what he is, without saying his name. But we do, and we can put his name in there 3 different ways, but we can't mathematically say, hey, this is the mathematical equation that why his name fits in there. But you could take Loring.D.Hill, that's 13, Mr. Loring Hill. I mean, there's 3 different ways to do it, forward and back, but we can't prove it. But after 2 years of studying, that's when we found that. Now, go ahead. Sorry.
I got to ask you one more question. What was his education level? I mean, look, you just can't you just can't come up with this stuff on the fly. I mean, you have to put a lot of thought, a lot of time, a lot of sitting down and making sure everything spells what you are trying to signal. But what's his education level? A little bit about his background.
So coming out of high school, he was the top of his class. He was a math genius. That's part of the reason why he got into the aviation. They want people like that. That's good with math, good with cryptology, and they created that so they would give each other messages and the enemy would not know what that is. You know, like way further advanced than Morse code. You know what I'm saying? But he fixed the airplanes. He flew the airplanes. He was pre-Top Gun, for the first pilots to fly these Phantom jets. I mean, his career was so extensive. You know what I mean? Between Bay of Pigs, Cuba Crisis, Korea, Vietnam. When the USS Miracle, he was part of the readiness team. He was training people on planes. He was a captain. You know what I mean? He worked onshore duty. He delivered airmail. We have a letter from the Zodiac that says airmail on it. You know what I'm saying? The difference between us is that all these things line up with him. And what's the difference between us and everyone else is we have an explanation and we have the time gaps explanation. So the Zodiac wrote in letters saying, I'm gonna commit more crimes. You're not gonna know it's me, and I'm gonna make him look like regular, you know, whatever. Because you would not know who he is if he didn't call in and send letters at all. Nobody would know who the Zodiac is if he didn't say, I'm the Zodiac. Okay, but we then get Rick McBain, a Navy veteran of 20 years who worked in these squadrons. So now we're looking at logistics. We're looking at training, what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. So now we're studying those things out of the archives. And then we find, between that and his records, and we get Voices for Victims, who's that advocate who's helped put this together. And basically, from 1954 to 1974, wherever you place him, these same types of crimes are happening, okay? All the way to 74. Death follows him. He's there for 3 weeks. He commits crimes. He goes on a tour or he goes to train somewhere else. And we have actually sketches pre-Zodiac, and they don't know who this person is, but they don't connect it to Zodiac. We place him in the area, and he looks exactly like him. And I have tons of pictures, sketches on this page, the Book of Faces. We've posted them up on the TikTok. We have a pretty good amount. People always like, well, bring the receipts, bring this and that. Well, I have a treat for you. Okay, I have a treat for you because in 1973, the Zodiac sent in the Badlands letter. Okay, and what did it say on it? It said, in 1959, we were killing time. Why would he send that in 1973? Well, this is that goodie bag. You said bring the goods. This is that goodie bag. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to present to you some pictures, okay, that are all original, okay?
Man, dude, I wish I was there with you right now.
This is his boot camp picture. We know the Zodiac likes to underline things and write me. He writes me and underlines it. Very interesting, right? We're going to get to the one that I want you to see. I'll let you see them all, but we're going to get to the meat and potatoes on this. Of course, it's going to be the last one, right?
It's okay.
So we'll get to it. All right. This is 1959. This is original picture. Okay. Original. Can you read that? It says killing time.
All right, I see it now. Yes, yes. Yes, I do. Yep.
He writes killing time on it. This is 1959. Coincidence? I don't think so. When we're batting 1,000, 5,000 for 5,000 on coincidences. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you something. Our community, Jay, we don't do the coincidence thing. So I don't call that a coincidence at all.
So we know who that is? James Mansfield. What do we know about the Zodiac? He liked to say, guess who, ha ha, blah, blah, blah. What does it say on there? It says, guess who, right on the bottom. There's a little, little extra cleavage here. So
Hey, that's why she was famous.
Now we have Carnes, France, the French Alps. This is 1959. What's interesting is that we know the Zodiac favorite weapon was a 22. So it's hard to see here, but this black, because it was ripped off of a photo album, right? It's a construction paper. But behind it, there's 22, okay? And I'm going to bring you closer. Bring you a little bit closer here. I'm going to flip this up for you. Okay? Okay, so you can really get a good chance to see it. Okay, now it says Carnes, France, with the something.
Right there, don't move it. And you can read it.
Do you see the 22?
Yes. Yes.
It's almost like a Z.
Okay.
Okay, that's one. Okay, this is 1959. Now, his wife leaves him in 1957 because he's caught cheating. She's 22. His new wife's 22. His favorite weapon's 22. Who did the Zodiac go after? 22-year-olds. Women with red hair that look just like my grandmother. Okay? This one says, the future heli pilot of an HU-2 in Zodiac lingo. He's like, ha, 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 it's me. Okay, this guy doesn't even write his name. The guy looks kind of scary.
That's creepy.
It's creepy. All right, and so let's just look at this one again. This is him playing cards. That looks like a pack of Lucky Strikes. We know he smoked Lucky Strikes in Pall Mall. Okay. Somebody's smoking Marlboro. But let's look at that killing time again. Okay. Now, I don't know what that is, but I'd like to have that professionally removed, all of these. Now let's go to the next one. This is on the USS Saratoga. He looks a little different now with glasses, right?
He does.
Right. So glasses on, glasses off. All right. Well, I believe there's a 22 on this one because if you look real close, right on the top there,
yes,
you see that top, that hook with the blue, right? So there's a total of 8 of these. Now here's another one. This is all 1959. Okay. What does it say on the back?
No.
22. Why would he write that?
The front door.
Why would he write that? Now here's another famous picture I have of him. Okay. Now this says on the back, 22. Okay, this is a victim count, Jamie, from 1957 to 1959. This is his 22-year-old victim count. There he is, Saratoga, heli pilot. 22. Looks like a Z, right? Looks like Z's. Okay. Here's another one. Now we know it's 1959. Why? It says 1959 right there. December. Carnus France, there he is. What do we got on the back? 22. Okay, he doesn't write his name. He writes me. I think I'm trying to give me a restriction because of my face.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll keep going.
We got the F 84, I believe, an A40, an A01. These are the pilot, the jets, the Phantom jets, the F86, I think it says. And what does it say on the back? I believe that's going to be another 22, Jamie. I can't be sure because it's just kind of like gone, missing because of that blocking it. Now here he is. This is 1959, Barcelona, city of Barcelona. What does it say on the back? Well, this one says good old Barcelona with a nice underline that the Zodiac likes doing. Okay.
Now that LL, was that the from the printing?
That's the 77.
Okay, gotcha.
I believe so, exactly.
He talks about having good old times in Vallejo. The Zodiac talks about having good old times.
Oh yeah, the Zodiac talks about having a good old time in Vallejo, right? And we have good old Barcelona. This is also another one. Nothing says on the front there, but I believe that's another 22. You see the hooks up there?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. Covered up. And then here's him eating an apple with one of his guys on the ship. What does it say on the back? This one says taking a snack while writing to you. Now, is that another 22? Maybe so. See that little line up there?
Yep.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. The James Manfield, give you a better, closer look. We'll make it TikTok friendly, and I'll hide that part. It says guess
That's
who.
good. Guess
Okay,
who.
that's all Zodiac lingo. Okay. Now, what's very interesting is if you look at the Mikado play, this is his book. And we know the Zodiac called like The Exorcist a comedy, right? This is the 12th Night by William Shakespeare. It's just like it. It's just like the Mikado. Now, here's what's interesting too, is that we have pictures and access to his bookcases that are still on the farm, that all the books reference all the things that Zodiac references, like Moby Dick. He's got Moby Dick on the bookcase. Excuse me. But here's some records, okay? We'll show you. Okay, so here's Loring's records, you know what I'm saying? And we have, honey, can you help me out with finding these same date records for the mailing record to correspond to, correlate with the, thank you.
And wait, let me ask you as we go, burning question, Jay. How long have you been working on this?
I would say that we're probably at 150, almost 200,000 hours between me and my wife, Rick McBain, and Voices for Victim.
When did you start? Can you give us an approximate date, year?
The year we started, I would say 20?
September 2021.
September of 21.
And if you had to guess, how many documents have you collected? Pictures, everything.
I mean, there's a stack here, and this is just some of it.
And here's the deal. This is why I wanted to bring that up. This is something that you guys have worked on consistently and regularly. It's nothing that you just said, hey, you know what? Let's make a quick dime or let's get a name for ourselves. I mean, you've worked tirelessly on this case. It's just amazing of the amount of documents that you just showed so far, and you're not even halfway there.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff like timelines,
Yeah.
pre-Zodiac, connections to, you know, the MO type crimes, no essay, 22, you know, people going missing and found
Robbery.
no robbery, you know, all types of that kind of stuff. Give me 1 second. I just want to check something here.
And Rick in the chat is bringing up some great points. I mean, all these victims had family. I mean, it's generational. It's lineage of family members. And before you get to the next part, I got to ask you, what is your true? I heard you're live today, so I'm cheating a little bit with the guy that said he was on the fence with you, right? What's your motive for doing this, Jay?
My motive is to give the families of the victims closure. They've been beat up in the head over and over and over with thousands of suspects and interviews and documentaries and books and movies, whatever. They're sick of it. They want answers. You know, every time, it's like they did a Netflix documentary, they chopped up everything they said to meet the documentary's narrative. And they're not happy. I mean, they want answers. Darlene Farron's daughter grew up without a mother. She never got to know her mother.
Right.
All she got to do was see the talk about this person and that person. Everybody's been ruled out. You know,
and Marianne in the chat says, beautiful answer.
Yeah, everybody's been ruled out in many different means. You know, we are not ruled out. We are not going to be able to get ruled out. You know, and lies have speed and the truth has endurance. So,
and real quick, I don't want to delay, but I've got one more question. I could ask you 1,000, but we'll do that maybe on the phone. I've got to ask you, you know, you're talking about, okay, you're doing it for the families. I got that. And I believe it 120%, Jay, you're solid on that. But here's what I want you to speak on for just a moment. What about your own family? What about yourself? What about your lineage of family? What's I mean, you guys need closure because I think you're over the target. How does that work on your mind?
I'll be honest with you. I think it's a little bit easier for me. You know, like I said, my mom lived with him up into the age of 15 as a military brat. So she traveled everywhere. She's even been to Blue Rock Springs, Lake Tahoe, Vallejo, and fished with them in the same areas where these crimes happen, right? To me, you know, I lived in Chicago. His hometown was Ohio. I didn't know him. I didn't care to know him. And, you know, I just feel that, you know, when my mom told me that originally, my life almost was put together and made sense on that car ride home. What affected my mom to affect her to that domino effect? He didn't show her no love. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't capable. He was a no good person, very evil person, very abusive. And part of the reason why my grandmother left him is because he took my mom's sister, which is my aunt, picked her up and threw her.
Hold on a minute. Alondra, I am on the iPad. I am on the iPad, not the computer. Sorry, Jay.
No problem.
I get text in the middle of this thing. They're just trying to make it better. So the views are very low. So we're trying to figure out why we're being shadowed.
I'm telling you, nobody wants this case solved. They don't care enough, or they're jealous, or, you know what I mean, that they just, you know, I hear people say it's just been too long. Well, who cares at this point? You know, when I do my co-hosting and I run across some people,
Are you looking for?
you know, okay, so my wife found one all right for you. So just give me the 1 second so I can reverse it. I want to show you actual documents from his military records that show August 4th, the same date as one of the letters of the Zodiac that goes out.
As the debut letter.
The debut letter.
Which
Ready for this?
Contained the 408 cipher.
This the 408 cipher. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Did I screw this up? Yeah, hold on. Let me fix the.
There you go.
And here.
So we're going to zoom right into the date. So it says August 8th. And then it says August 4th. Transfer to the Fleet Reserve, Alameda, California, right? We know he's there.
Well, these forms are really difficult to understand.
Yeah, these, like my wife's saying, these forms are difficult to understand if you didn't know the logistics, the training, the administration.
So, which is why we don't release them in public. But yes, this
I don't know if
captures.
can you hear my wife?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Okay, good.
all right, so this is this is actually a record of discharge from 1973 going to the Fleet Reserve, but it shows his previous enlistment was Alameda, August 4th, 1969.
August 5th. Yep.
5th, right. But what happens is they discharge the day before and then they re-enlist the next day. So, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience to study these things.
So on August 4th, 1969, when the Zodiac wrote the debut letter with the 408 to the 3 different newspapers.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
He was giving more clarification and detail because just 4 days before, on July 31st, he writes that he was the guy that unalived the kids at the park. He does not say he's the Zodiac at the time. Okay, he doesn't come out with the Zodiac persona. But on August 4th, he says, this is the Zodiac speaking, and he asks for the ciphers to be printed in the paper, which is the day he discharges, and then he re-enlists for another 6 years. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. I mean, you really gotta.
And then he goes on leave for 30 days, and he goes back to Ohio, and you don't hear anything from the Zodiac the whole month of August and half of the month of September. So his records state that he was to report for duty.
Hey, Melissa. That's crazy.
September 5th.
I mean, this is nuts.
So, and then, right. So then you see Lake Berryessa September 27th, and then the activity just doesn't stop because he's landlocked. So he's not on a ship because the ship got damaged.
Right. And then, how do you? I don't want to get ahead of you, but I'm dying to ask. So you have all of these documents. I mean, the documents don't lie. They match up with the dates. So what did you start doing next? Did you start putting dates as it relates to crimes?
Yes. This is a blueprint. And then everything where he's at, crime. He leaves, those crimes stop along his path. He's doing crimes. Crimes are happening where he goes. If he does a tour, none of these crimes are happening. I mean, who can explain that better? Nobody can explain that. We're the first in history to make that explanation.
Everybody believes he's Navy. Everybody believes he's military. Just like Rick makes a point, you have to be active duty to jump over a Presidio wall and just disappear. You have to be active duty to buy this ammunition, this triple X or whatever, Super X ammunition. I mean, this has Navy all over it.
I will say, one thing that convinced me is the sighting of the Zodiac in Dublin, California, which is Alameda County. We can prove in his records that he was staying in Dublin in temporary military housing in 1967.
We have his records to prove that.
There is also another cold case called Molina and Hernandez look that up. Mike Morford talks about this case
He's
in
a
his
podcaster.
This is the Zodiac Speaking podcast.
Let me ask you a question.
And it
guys.
happened literally the same month that Loring moves to the Bay Area.
What's the body count? I mean, where are we at? How many?
There's a lot. And we believe there's more. And because of resources, and you got to figure pre-1965, those records aren't digital. And we need a lot of boots on the ground. We need to get into these archive areas and go through them and sift through them. So it's going to take resources and time. We're talking, if he started in 1954 and he ends in 1996, that's 42 years of him doing this. And we suspect him doing this earlier, because now when he goes into high school at the age of 14, he gets a job with his brother at a funeral home. He's picking up bodies, he's embalming them, he's helping them get ready for view. Okay? Well, when he gets out of high school, from the age of 18 to 20, he works with his father at Erie Railroad. We believe, because there's books on his shelf, the whole map of Erie Railroad, because that's all you did was read, okay, back then. We believe that he would get on these trains, because these trains will go all the way to New Jersey and all the way to Chicago, that he go commit a crime, get back on the train, and come back home and be home in time for dinner.
What age do you think he actually started?
I think that probably, I think as early as, maybe earlier than 14, he probably unalived animals. And then, he has a brother that's working in the funeral home, so he goes into the funeral home to work with them. He's got older brothers that are in the Navy and in the military. His father was in the Navy. And you got to think, too, when his father, was born and raised, this is going through the Depression. Now, were they and stealing and unaliving people? Is this a family of murderers? It's possible. It's possible. We are going to try to get the records to each one of those brothers. And so it's possible, because his one brother, you made a post and you put up the US 66 map, and it had this symbol, and then on top had an arrow. What a strange place to put the arrow only on top. Because if you look at that map, what's it pointing to? His brother's name, Clayton. Okay? We see the Zodiac send in postal keys. We see him talking about airmail. When we looked at when he retires, 75 to 1996, the crimes from Columbus, Ohio, the crimes, and then we talked about Circleville. Circleville, we visited. There's a big pumpkin as a water tower there. And in the middle of the town, there's this crosshair And here's what's interesting. The police station's on Route 22. And if you look at the handwriting from Circleville, it's almost identical like the New Jersey writer. And we know we put them in New Jersey, we put them in West Virginia. I mean, this is where these air bases are. He used these military bases as his camouflage. He'd commit the crime, and then he would drive back to the military base, and no cop and no civilian is going to follow him in there. It's not happening.
Yeah, here's a good question I want to ask, what Simone's asking. Do you have any indication that he was into any witchcraft?
I don't believe they practiced. I think his parents were what?
No. He
What were they, Protestants?
yeah, Protestant.
His parents were Protestant, but
No signs, no inkling of.
not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm going to tell you one thing that my mother told me. When she was a kid, she would babysit. So when she lived in the Alameda housing, which got torn down, she would babysit the neighbors' kids. So then her stepmother and father would go drink and smoke or whatever. She had walked in on them one time having the orgy. So that's what she's seen.
The lack of the occult background is why we feel like the Navy is what is influencing this, and it's his occupation.
The occupation, yeah. And just remember too, and here's a story that my mom told me, and it's not like it's a real story, confirmed. When the 1968-69, the scuba diver seagrass training was very popular. They had it at that school. They had a net because that school's on the ocean, so the sharks can't get in. My mom trained into the scuba diver training herself. My grandfather did the scuba diver training himself. And what's the matter? Are you okay? You're giving me that funny look over there.
Like, well, they're two separate classes.
Right. Well, they are two separate classes. I didn't mean they trained together. Thank you, Brad. So
They've always got to be one in the crowd, Jake.
Their interest, it's women math. That's what it is. Women mathing, girl mathing. Okay, yeah. So my wife had pulled up the timeline. We're going to pull at that, but let me explain this. So he goes and does this training. 4 months after he does this training is when we see the Zodiac persona come out. Why is that important? Why? He receives a Zodiac watch. Okay. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They receive a Zodiac watch for that scuba diver training. They do these underground tactics or whatever. They train and they use the watch for their timing, how long to be in the water and all that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what makes that argument stronger is I found research that the watch is also a tool for Navy aviation navigation.
Correct.
So there's a nautical, sea, and air reason for that watch.
And you've seen a protractor before, right?
Yep.
Well, did you know in the Navy they use a different type of protractor that measures time and distance? I believe that's the key to that math. But I'm not no math guy, But my wife pulled up this timeline, so I'm gonna flip the screen so you can see this timeline, okay?
I'm going to turn one of the lights down, so keep going.
All right, so we'll wait for Jamie to come back here.
So this timeline.
He's not back yet.
Okay.
Give him a second. He's turning some lights on.
I'll take it.
Hey, welcome in, everyone. Sorry I didn't see you. Just kind of paying attention to this. Good to see everyone. Thank you so much.
What, you can't see,
All right,
I'm
babe.
with you.
What do you want?
you can't see the whole thing. The way
I'm going to go left to right. Thank you. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at timeline of USS Enterprise and Zodiac killer activity, okay? Now, we go to July to December 1969. We get Darlene Farron and Mike Magoo. We get the Lake Herman Road, Blue Rock Springs in Vallejo, July 4th, 1969. Then we go and look at the first letter as killer to 3 news outlets. You have the Cipher 408. You have that July 31st, 1969. Then we move over to August 3rd, 1969. We have Deborah Furlong and Kathy Snoozy.
But someone else was convicted of this crime.
Right. We believe that they were wrongly convicted of this crime because it had Zodiac all over. We believe that a lot of people went down for his crimes. Then we move over to August 4th, 1969. We talk about his records, right? That is the first Zodiac letter.
Yeah, I actually have to correct this.
And then we move over to August 8th to the 22nd, 1969. LD visits Ohio.
Wow.
Okay. Now there's no activity.
And he's driving.
And he's
He does
driving.
this as a road trip.
Then we move over to September 8th, 1969. LD reports back to Alameda for his last 4 years of re-enlistment. Then we go to September 27th, 1969. We have Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell, Small Island, Lake Berryessa, Napa, California. Then we look at now October 11th, 1969. Paul Stein gets unalived, the cab driver in the Presidio Heights of San Francisco. Then you look at October 13th, 1969, the Paul Stein letter. Then we move over to November 8th, 1969. He writes in the Dripping Pen Cipher 340. So those are 2.
And then the
And then we move over to December 20th, 1969. We have the Melon Belli letter where he says Melon Belli eats blubber, referencing Moby Dick. Okay, now this is one timeline. Now we're going to go to the timeline of USS Enterprise, Zodiac Killer Activity, 1970.
So,
Go ahead. You want to go?
right.
Oh, hold on. I got to do a puzzle. I can do it. All right. So we're looking at March 22nd, 1970. Kathleen Johns and baby attempting kidnapping on Route 132. What's significant about Route 132? He's on the squadron VAQ 132 at that time.
He's a scorpion.
He's a Scorpion squadron. Now we move over to April 20th.
Also, hold on,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Slow down. Kathleen Johns is a disputed Zodiac victim. Okay, half of the camp thinks she's a victim, the other half doesn't.
But she does when
She
she
did
goes to the
survive.
police station after surviving.
Right.
She sees the sketch of the Zodiac and says, that's the guy. So she confirms it with seeing it herself.
Right. But how does this tie to Loring? In the police records, she describes a tan station wagon
Which he owned
with
at the time.
kids' toys and books kind of sprawled all around the inside, which match and corroborate the ages of Loring's 3 younger kids that he did have with him living in the Bay Area
With his second wife.
with his second wife. At this time, Jay Crime's mom and aunt, the 2 oldest with the first wife, were in Chicago.
Yeah, they move away. And now
He was forced to leave Ohio without the 2 older ones. So
Yeah.
he was livid.
yeah, because my mom's side of the family tricked him to come to Ohio to visit
Okay.
because this is a missing gap here. So when he stole my mom and my aunt and filed for custody in California. So she didn't know where he was until a family member got a hold of him and said, hey, come out and visit. He did, and left him there. And when he came back, all my great uncles were on the porch with shotguns and said, you're not leaving with these children. And my grandmother said, basically, I'll unalive you if you even think about it. So they left. You know what I'm saying? They left without the kids.
The two kids.
Two kids.
The two older ones. They had the three younger ones.
Yeah. And now we go to April.
So then you see the bus bomb. You see all these school bus threats throughout 1970.
Right. His kids, the two kids are gone that were in high school. He's threatening school buses now. Are you going to continue? Because you're pausing pretty long.
Okay, there's a delay on my end. So anyway, and then on July 24th, 1970, you see the Kathleen Johns letter where he claims that he kidnapped her and that she got away. And then on July 26th, you see more writing. In LD's military records, there is a 30-day leave right here where he has a lot of time in his hand.
Between the July 24th and July 26th. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Where's the 30 days that you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying there's 30 days in his military records. This little list letter
which
is
gave him
6
more time to write
pages.
these letters, you're saying. Oh, got it.
This is 6 pages.
6 pages. Got it.
Right. But there's no activity in the newspaper that says he went to Ohio. So my theory is he stayed in the Bay Area and was able to write all these letters, okay? Because I can't.
Right.
So if he was in Ohio, his mother would have wrote about it.
The Little List poem, Mount Diablo, July 26, 1970. Then we move over to September 6, 1970. We have Donna Lass disappears at the Sahara Tahoe Hotel, Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Then you move over to October 5th, 1970. He writes the crack-proof letter.
Now, where do we have copies of the letters?
And he can write this with confidence because he's leaving the Bay Area.
We don't. The police do. So you being the police, yes.
So the cops have the letters.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got copies.
Well, we got copies. But not the originals.
Right.
Yes.
We have copies of the originals. Yeah.
Correct.
This is just wild.
So if you go to Nice Zodiac Buttons.
So we're on the ZodiacKillerBomb.com website where we have the list of dates. Okay. This is complicated. This is one of the most complicated cases in American serial library.
So
this takes a lot of time to figure out. This is not. Go ahead, honey.
Which letter do you want to see, Jamie?
Jamie, which letter do you want to see?
Pick one, man. I just want to see one. I know a couple were asking about them, so just pull one up.
Let's talk about the one where it's about the knife, the RH letter. Do you remember which one that was?
That's Sherry Jo Bates.
Okay, that's earlier crimes.
Yeah, that's Sherry Jo Bates, which is October 30th, 1966, Riverside. We suspect he was guilty of that one too. That's the Dusk poem. But this is really just Zodiac letters right now on my site.
The Zodiac persona.
Yeah.
Because we believe he's a multi-persona.
So, I mean, here I can talk. Oh, yeah, here's the Melvin Belli letter.
There you go.
So, this is the Zodiac speaking we think was adopted from, this is the captain speaking.
Right.
Being a plane captain,
Yep.
and then being on the ship, like the USS Enterprise, the USS Saratoga, the USS Essex.
And if you go down towards don't move it, please. Hold on a second.
Go back. He wants you to go back.
I'll go back.
Well, that's okay.
Okay, go down.
Okay, stop. Take your hand and move it up one set. Stop.
Stop.
Hold it.
Stop.
Move your hand up without moving the screen.
Can you move your hand up without moving the screen?
Here, I'll just read it for you. Please help me. I am drowning. What's significant about that statement?
Exactly. Him jumping over the board on the U.S. Enterprise.
There you go. Please help me. I am drowning. That's a...
Yeah. And then he talks about the children being
Right.
safe.
Correct.
It's crazy, man.
From the bomb. So my theory is it wasn't a real bomb, that he was the bomb.
And he's about to go off.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. I mean...
Right.
This is just wild.
Right. You were a former detective, and I'm sure you've dealt with some things, but this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, we're regular people. Okay, we have careers, we have busy life, but for us to just do this and then just study it and try to understand it and kind of puzzle it all together.
Hold on, stop. Hold on. Okay, I'm looking at the Z and the Zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold it right there. Can you get one of those pictures with the 22 and hold that up beside the Z?
Give me 1 second. Now we're talking lingo here.
I mean, I want to try to punch holes in this thing. I really and truly can't.
Here's the problem with his handwriting.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I was looking at.
It's a little different. I mean, his writing changes, even in everything that he writes over time.
In his record.
I mean, even my signature changed over years, you know?
Well, keep in mind, that's a Z, not a 2
So
on that picture. I mean, it's a Z on the screen, but it's a 2 on the picture.
Yeah, my wife's
I
going to
just
pull.
want to see what the
that's
difference
true
was.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some writing. We're hoping that we could get more. Okay.
Here's the best example is the Badlands letter.
Yeah, we're talking about the Badlands letter, remember?
Right.
Where he says 1959, 73.
It's
November.
74, honey.
That was 74 the letter went out? I mean, this is a lot to remember. I'm sorry, but I thought it was 73 when that letter was written.
Oh, wait, hang on. That's
There's another 73.
74.
Is there there? No, that's the extra set.
This is the Exorcist letter.
Yeah, that's the one where it says he plunges himself in a billowy wave.
And Hannah, good point. Hannah says that the length and width of the 2 and Z. So, I mean, that's a good
I
point.
have these on here yet. I don't have them on there yet.
Can you just try that other one? Go back.
What do you want me to do?
You're not on the right one, so go back.
Okay.
Okay, now that one there.
Yeah, let's do this one. This is a good example. There's the 2.
There you
Some
go.
of the 2s.
There you go.
I mean, a lot of it is just,
And the way that he writes the dates is very similar with the lines.
yeah, and I also have samples on here. So let me show you some samples on here, Jamie.
Okay.
So we talk about that letter where it says 1959 killing time.
Yeah.
So let me show you. You tell me by looking at this, and I'm going to put this on the screen here, and I know it's in here, so just bear with me. I really do got to separate my chimney work from Zodiac. All right, so I'm just going to be a little bit further here, but it's in here. I don't want to zoom. I don't want to breeze past it. We're getting close, guys. Just be patient with me. All right.
There you go.
All right. So the top 2 are from his pictures. The bottom one is from that letter that says killing time in 59. 1959. That's those nines are one. If you look at the top 5, that skip down and below, and then the skip down below on the bottom one, the little space, right? Okay, yep, she found it. The other one. So I mean,
So here's where you
all right.
see
Let me.
right here the M and the P.
There's a delay, so let me change my screen.
Okay.
So we could see that. Okay, give me 1 second, everybody. We're amateurs here. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're doing a hell of a job, my friend.
So this is that Badlands letter.
There you go.
Where it says
1959.
you see the 19 for the killing time, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
But let's take this.
Now look at this right here. The camp and the P. See that this is where we need your handwriting analysis.
Here, try this. Move your fingers.
There we go. Right here.
There you go.
Okay, hold on. Wifey,
I'm
gonna
sorry.
kick your butt.
It's a really sensitive screen.
Yeah, where are we at? Where do you want to be? Right there? I'm not sure what you're doing,
I
lady.
don't know what you did.
Right there. It still does it if you don't touch it.
Okay, can you see it?
All right, now we're coming in.
I'm trying not to touch the
You
screen.
did it anyways. Okay, we're gonna be. Hit the button. Okay. So if you see what she's trying to give an example of.
Here, sympathy.
Here, how about this? Because you're shadowed. Your whole thing's shadowed. Okay. Now,
Don't touch it. Don't touch
where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Right there?
No,
Okay.
right here.
There you go.
Right here. Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Now see the M and the P in camp,
Mm-hmm.
and then the M and the P in sympathy. And the way that there's the gaps in in those 2 letters is really strong, almost exactly the same.
Right, and underlining
And then this is where he talks about in 1959, most people were killing time.
right. Let's look at. You know what's interesting? Because you can't hear me. I gotta
Sorry.
hit her. Hold on. I didn't know it was that much of a delay between us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's find the killing time picture. Good
I
Lord.
just.
Right here. Okay. Let's look at. I mean, I know it's cursive. We're going from cursive to. Hold on 1 second. So, I just want you to kind of look at the pattern, okay, of killing time there and killing time here. I know it's.
Look at that.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. There it is.
The M is.
I did it. Now I did it.
That M is like
All right.
distinct.
I'm this stupid touchscreen screen. Just
I saw what you were talking about, though. I mean, it's
like the pattern and how he writes it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be really patient, and you really got to take your time to do this. And he left like he left like a trail of breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying? That
Can we back up for just a minute?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the funeral home. That kind of triggered my mind for a moment, right? How much history do we have on the funeral home? Were they any? I mean, you're talking back. Data and records sucked at best.
60, 70 years ago, 70 plus years ago.
But anything? Have you done any research on that? Any missing bodies? Any complaints? Any?
We want to start from the beginning. You know, we need resources. You know, time is of the essence, right? Like I was saying, like even, one of the witnesses that was looking down at the Zodiac, there's just one left. That's it. We need to find them, Jamie. We need to find them because I find them. I show them this picture right here. I mean, come on. That's over with. It's over with. They see that picture.
Can we bring Rick up for a moment? Rick, are
Sure.
you okay to come up for a minute? I have a couple questions for Rick.
Yeah. That's why they got to drop down.
Hey, you're fine. Hey, Rick.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, catch us up. I want to talk Navy for a minute. I want to talk MOSs, his job. Encryption. What did he learn, or could he have learned a lot of this from his naval training in terms of?
He could have, but my personal opinion, I don't think he did.
Okay.
I mean, I could probably just write that myself and make you try to guess it for the next 10 years, you know?
Okay.
That's my personal opinion, but a lot of people have given me mixed, I'm a 20-year sailor myself, but I was told cryptology was taught at some point up to the Vietnam War, which he was absolutely part of the Korean and Vietnam War, so absolutely could have been taught that at some point.
Okay.
And we also know he read a lot of books. A lot of the books on the shelf back home in Ohio show that he was into mystery books. We know we got pictures of him reading Western comic books, which we believe, you know, the Zodiac was into, the famous Tim Holt comic book, which I have here. You know, the death by fire, by gun, by rope, by knife. And we have pictures of him dressed as a cowboy. So we know he's in the Westerns. But a lot of the suspects are missing that. So.
And the people who are here, and they're not leaving, Rick. I'd like to get more people, but that's okay. So don't worry so much about being TikTok friendly, but try to be TikTok friendly on the following question.
Yeah.
Let's cover this. Let's cover the weapon and the ammo.
Mm-hmm.
What significance does that ammo have with the Navy or that military training?
So basically, the long rifle ammo for 22s is also used on pistols, which we know he had a pistol, and we know his grandfather owned the rifle and took it with him everywhere. But my research tells me that that's the cheapest ammo. So you're going to just go doing that, you want to go cheap. And it's not much difference. It's for practicing. So if you look at a lot of the cases, they are linked to him being a military. A lot of people have made this connection. Tim Colbert with the Code Breakers. That's one of his defining characters of Gary Francis Post is being active duty and purchasing the ammo on Vandenberg Air Force Base. But Jamie, by the way, I researched. I was watching some Facebook on a Navy group, and they were all talking about an NAAS and arguing back and forth on what a naval air station is and a naval auxiliary air station is. So I plugged it in the newspaper, and I got a hit for a sailor with a 22, a couple miles from Goviata Beach. Yes, I love that look on your face right now. Yes, he was hit with a tire iron. Used a 22, left them in the creek on Highway 1, and guess what? NAAS Arguello was part of Vandenberg Air Force Base where the Super X ammo was bought for Goviata.
Shut the front door.
I wish I could make it up. I actually have them right here for you. Hold on. Gunman slain. They probably won't be able to see it, but gunman slain. Slays Arguello Airman near Lompoc, right here. And then I even have and it's also on my profile. I have the video linking this so they can check it out. I always try to screenshot it and make videos of all the cases I find. But this is part of the 62
Hey, real quick, Rick, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. But why don't we do this, Jamie? Let's get him up on the big box so he can see it. So I know I'm co-hosting, but I know you like I know you like me doing this.
Got evidence.
Let me do that background screen of my grandfather with my face, and then I'll jump off.
No, don't jump off. Don't jump off.
No, I can come over to you.
Okay, just don't leave yet. We're not done.
No. I'm not leaving. I'm just going to jump down.
You have a subpoena to testify. You're not done testifying.
Can I be my own lawyer?
Your wife. Yeah. We're not smart enough.
I just want to be able to pull him up. So you want to see his timelines he built.
Okay.
And you're
Well, I
not gonna
can't.
want-
That's on my computer. I don't have that printed out. It's fine.
But if he gives you the big screen, he could see it. So I'm gonna jump. Real quick. I'm gonna do that thing that I do, with my face because
Oh, God.
this is one of everybody's favorite part. Okay, so just give me 1 second. Let me put this on real quick.
I think I'm gonna
So
close
this
my
is
eyes.
me
I'm gonna have
still.
Nightmares.
And here's the sketch of the Zodiac. And I want everyone to know that this sketch came from the Presidio where Paul Stein was on Alive. The kids were looking down at the Zodiac. When I put my face directly in here, it doesn't fit. But when I take my head and I put my head down, like they're looking at the Zodiac from a window.
That's just creepy, man.
We're the jury.
Don't convict me, all right? It wasn't me, but I'm going to jump off and I'm going to be over on your live. Give me 1 second.
That's like the creepiest thing. I hate seeing that, man. I have like nightmares, man.
And let me just show you one more thing. Now that was that's a sketch, okay? Now let me show you a picture of my grandfather, okay? Which is something we just recently got, and that's what you've seen on that big board that we have. I'm going to just do this real quick, and then I'm going to let Rick take over because Rick is a beast. He specializes in a lot of stuff, and he put a lot of this together, and a lot of the stuff that we would know as civilians. So here we go. Here's the picture of my grandfather, and I'm going to show you how close I look. You ready for this one? Here we go. So I wanted to do that. I'll be over back on the live. So
One thing before you leave, and you can jump off and come back, but Jen Jack's asking about DNA. So have that ready, and let's talk DNA when you come back. If you have any of the answers for that, that was a couple of questions that were posed.
I'll be right back.
Good night, Amadi. Anything else in his trick bag, Rick, that we're missing? That's creepy. That's some creepy business right there. You're on mute, Rick.
Sorry. Yeah, he's got a lot. I tried to poke a hole in it when I got in his group, and I was like, all right, let's go date by date. And I've gone date by date. I got Maureen's timeline, which I transcribed from the military record, and I got the Zodiac cases plus Zodiac cases we believe are Zodiac. It's our we call it an A-list because it has to match the description, weapons, or MO, like calling the police and leaving or cryptic messages. So we have a plethora of evidence, and most of it's on my computer though. But I printed this out for you just for tonight. This is the newest case. So everyone's familiar with the Goviata Beach crime, right?
Yeah.
They believe they know he bought the ammo on a military base, which means the Zodiac had to be active duty military. Codebreakers makes this argument. I was watching another video where another YouTube creator was making the argument that it was near the Vandenberg Air Force Base and the Ray Davis was near Camp Pendleton, and the Navy Sailor in Ocean Beach was in San Diego near the Navy base, all right? Those are all in the early 60s. So I researched, I saw the Navy guys arguing on Facebook about which base was an NAAS or a NAS, Naval Air Station or Naval Auxiliary Air Station. So I typed it in thinking I wasn't going to find nothing, Jamie. I was like, I ain't going to find a darn thing. And 5 minutes after I did it, I literally posted in the Facebook group, and 5 minutes later I find this. So when I researched it, I said, what Naval Air Auxiliary stations are in California in the 60s? It came up with San Clemente, which is near Oceanside, the Ray Davis case. And this one was Arguello, Point Arguello. It was a Navy base until 1965. And then it got turned back over to the Air Force base. It was a missile launch test site.
Mirror your camera.
Mirror?
Yeah, so
I think so. Oh, shoot. Let me see.
That's okay. If you can't, don't
No,
worry
it's
about it.
right because this is on my right side.
Okay.
So I'm right. Yeah, it should be good. But, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because it's,
Yeah, it's backwards.
you can't see this.
That's okay. Don't disconnect.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I know how to flip it. Here we go. There we go. Oh,
There you go.
but now it's going to point away from me. Hold on. No, that's the other flip. Shoot.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, hold on. I'm trying to flip it back. All right, flip. Is this smear? There we go. All right. So you see here, gunman slays Arguello airman near Lompoc. It sounds like it's an Air Force airman, but you got to read the fine print on the right. So I'm going to read it off to you guys because it'll be easier. It says, gunman found body in creek, Lompoc. A 20-year-old Navy airman stationed at Point Arguello was fatally shot in the brain about midnight. Thursday, he was returning to his base from a Christmas leave in, guess where? Texas.
Texas.
Where is Loring from? Or it was stationed, Texas. I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much for me. James H. Yarbrough, stationed at Arguello for the past 18 months, was found shot through the head in a creek bed 15 miles east of Lompoc along Highway 1. So if you get on Google Maps and you look at Highway 1, this is like 3 miles from Goviata State Beach, where the Domingos Edwards case was, not even a year later. And then a year later, you got the Ray Davis in Oceanside. On top of it, well, so anyway, back to this case real quick before I jump anything. His car is missing. It's a 1950 white car. They never found it. We have a string of unalivings happening in 61 and 62 that we believe were the Zodiac. And I believe that maybe he used his car to travel to those other 3 to 4 victims until he got to the cab driver. Because they're all within a 4-month window, January to April. 2 of the 3 girls that went unalive between this case and the Ray Davis case, it was linked to a Navy sailor on an airplane from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. He had freaked out the stewardess. That he left a note after tearing out the girls' pictures. It's all in the newspapers, and I got it on my profile and the videos. He writes, "I'm not afraid of dying. I don't know what I'm doing. Fasten your seatbelt. I'm getting to know. I'm getting away." But see what I'm saying? They're all tied to a Navy base, a Navy sailor, Navy this. If you look at almost all the Zodiac crimes and these suspected crimes, they're all right near a naval air station. Yeah, sure, Joe base is by an Air Force base, but everything that Jay Crime's grandfather worked on, if you research it, those planes were able to land on Air Force base, especially in California because they're practicing going to Vietnam. So China Lake Naval Air Station, if you remember that, you got it. That one of the cases right by that base, right by all those bases in that area. So it's very scary. Matter of fact, even one of the girls that I mentioned in 62, she was known to have gone to San Diego and tried joining the San Diego Locker Club for Navy men. This is all in newspapers.com. So it's not nothing we're making up. It's a true crime that happened, a true case. And we got our receipts.
I know that, and guys, Melissa Rose is in here. This is lovely wife of Jay Crime. So that's who Melissa is. Let me ask you a question, Rick, and this is why I want to pull you up to pick your brain because I have questions. The Navy, I don't, you're going back so many years, I don't know how the record retention is. Obviously, there are records stored somewhere. God only knows how long it would take to pull them up. But here's my question for you. This could be, in my opinion, I think it's the #1 unsolved iconic crime case in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that, right? Here's my question, Rick. The Navy could possibly have a black eye once this is brought forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's unaliving people on the Navy's dime, essentially, right?
Yeah.
You guys are not getting any cooperation from naval intelligence at all?
we really haven't asked for it. We're just trying to get the word out, and hopefully someone will listen to us, and nobody's just giving us a listen. We got banned out of groups just because we have a suspect, we have theories. So even if they say it ain't Loring, we got to be on the right track with something we're telling here. There's too many Navy coincidences. I mean, we probably have like 20 or 30 Navy coincidences back to back that we can go through. And maybe some of these crimes aren't considered Zodiac. You know, like they always suspected Sherry Joe Bates. I mean, maybe he's not. But what are the chances all these cases, the sketches or descriptions say brown hair with reddish tint? His grandfather had that. The Sherry Joe Bates case, they mentioned that. All these cases have the same description.
I mean, I haven't even thought of this until it just dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, this could really give the Navy a black eye.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, there's some smart investigators over at the Naval at NCIS. I know those guys. I like those guys. I really think somebody, don't know who, but I think somebody in your crowd needs to jump on a plane and you need to fly to Washington and get a meeting.
Yeah. I was in criminal justice classes back in San Diego, and one of my instructors, my teachers, was a NCIS guy. So I thought about trying to look him back up and tell him about his case and see if he could help us. But and I don't even know if he'd still be around because this was like 10, 12 years ago, and he was in his 60s at the time, but he might be in his 70s by now. But yeah, I think someone needs to just help us get this out and figure it out. There's just too many. You know, I think this James Yarborough, I think it might have been the first sailor he unalived before the Swindle case. Was there more? Probably. We'll never know. Because the problem is when we search where he was stationed at, like East Coast, New Jersey, there's so many unalivers, serial unalivers. It's a madhouse trying to correlate them together. But every time I look at these and I put the dates and he's not on a cruise, these crimes are happening. You know, the first one in 1957, the guy called San Carlos police station there near San Francisco, and he tells them, "I'm the man who killed the woman on the beach last year, and I'll do it again, again, and again." You know, that's got to be Zodiac. It's got to be Zodiac.
What have you guys found? And I'm just going to pick your brain for a minute, and I would like to bring some people up with questions, but I've got to ask you guys. Jay, are you guys here? Jay, are you listening? That's one demerit for Jay.
Yep, he's listening.
Listen, you don't get a demerit. Jay gets a demerit.
He's got to tell him to accept my request.
Oh, he put in a request to come back up so that you can hear him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I don't know how I ended up in your box either.
More the merrier.
I'm just liking the live, and all of a sudden I'm in your box.
I'm fine.
Question. Do we have any ties? Do we have any Zodiac potential victims?
Let's bring up Voices for Victim. That's one of our other forms. We're the fabulous
Let me
four.
get this question first, Jay. Do we have any victims in Florida
Oh,
that we know of?
yeah. Let Rick tell you about that, and then the connection to Sherry Joe Bates.
But hold on, just yes or no, Rick. And I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
there's quite a few. I found another one the other day, but it was in 69 also. But there was one with a lady in red, and the Zodiac writes about a lady in red with Sherry Joe Bates.
Do we have any in Georgia?
We found some, we believe, a lot more are in West Virginia and Eastern Pennsylvania, close to his home
Pennsylvania.
state.
Okay, that's where I'm going with this. Look,
Yeah.
they've been. This is not a secret. You can Google and fact check me on this. It's no secret. They were a serial guy or serial person going back 50 years ago, 60 years ago on the East Coast, all the way up from Florida, all the way up to Pennsylvania. Countless body counts.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys may. I swear to goodness, you're over the target, guys.
I even found a case in New Jersey where the guy drove a cab. He took a cab into the doctor. It was a doctor he was like a professor at a college, and his wife and two co-eds were in the house, and a gardener was on the property. And the guy unalived him with a 22 after tying him up, did not steal anything, and drove off in the cab. And
Yeah,
it was
Melissa-
22, and it was miles from his original naval air station. He was stationed at Lakehurst, New Jersey.
Yeah,
It's like an hour
Melissa
drive.
Melissa has some interesting New Jersey ones as well about a police officer's son. Honey?
Yeah, Gary Grant Jr., he was 7 years old, abducted on 100 North California, was found 2 days later on January 14th, 1984, which was the 15-year anniversary of the USS Enterprise. He was the son of a police officer, Gary Grant Sr. Unfortunately, I can't go into details as to how he was unalived because it's not TikTok friendly. But I can tell you that 2 years later, in 1986, the assailant wrote on the side of a police car, number 113 was the car, yes, that he targeted this boy because he was the son of a cop or a pig. Call them pigs. Then 2 weeks later, they find writing scrawled on the sidewalk, also claiming that he's targeting the son of a police officer. Then he calls dispatch and asks how he can collect the reward money. I think there was $10,000 reward at the time. And dispatch says, well, do you know who did it? And he said, yeah, I'm the one who did it. Very Zodiac-like, right? And if you see the writing on the side of the police car, it is very similar to Zodiac's. So I talk about this 1984 and 86 incident because fast forward to 1990, John Walsh starts receiving letters from the Scorpion and ciphers. And the cipher says, remember me. And then it's like the symbols resemble the Navy alphabet. Okay, they're very similar to the Navy alphabet. If you look at the flags, how the Navy alphabet works.
Stop right there. Rick,
Yeah.
chime in. What is she talking about?
It's about the Navy flags we use them for communications back in the Navy. So Alpha means for divers, Bravo means for fuel, et cetera, et cetera. They all each have a meaning. So a lot of the writings were similar to so like when they do the Navy, like the A, B, and C for, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie flags, they all kind of look like a letter inside the flag as well. They make the letter if you look at them.
Melissa, I just wanted him to chime in. I mean, he is the expert from the Navy.
Yep, exactly. And here's what's scary about this. In the letter that accompanies that cipher, he says that he has now moved his criminal activity into New Jersey. So so it's like, okay, why are you writing somebody who hosts America's Most Wanted, who loses his son, almost in a very similar manner, out of Florida, claiming that your activity is now moved into New Jersey? The interesting thing about our suspect is he also lost a son at 5 years old in a fire on the farm in Ohio in 1978, January of 1978. And so is he lashing out because of the loss of his own son? Is he gambling in Atlantic City in New Jersey? Is he there for a 15-year anniversary for the USS Enterprise? Why are these connections happening? I don't think it's just coincidence.
And just to connect a little bit real quick is that our suspect was in the Scorpion Squadron. And if you look at the mascot of the Scorpion Squadron, it's the same mascot, the same way the Scorpion letter writer writes in those letters. So this guy got a connection to Scorpion, Phantom, Z13, Dragon Squadron. It's just crazy because you look at the Zodiac also sends in a dragon card with a hillbilly riding a dragon. And that's what you call riding the dragon when you are riding these HU-2 helicopters. They call it riding the dragon. Oh, yeah. Check this out. This is my grandfather's that was given to me.
I think I'm going to just shut this thing down.
Melissa, tell Jamie about Tammy, the young lady that I found.
Yeah, now we're getting into, is there a possibility, right, for physical evidence to help tie this together? So Boyce has found a case, Tammy Joe, gosh, I want to say her name was Anderson. I'm gonna have to Google it real quick. But Tammy Joe, as I'm talking about this case, I'll look up her last name so you can write it down, Jamie. But she was in her late teens, early 20s. She was from Florida. She disappeared. They found her body not far off of, I think it was a highway off near Rochester, New York. And the key to her case is that she was last seen with a guy that fits the description of Loring with the glasses and all of that, but also seen in a tan station wagon, which is what he owned. Now, as they were processing the crime scene, they found fibers that were consistent with pollen from trees that grow in the area of Northern California, Sierra Nevada, so we're talking like Reno, Nevada areas, and southern Texas, New Mexico, and Mexico. And we have corroboration from the family that he had taken, our suspect had taken his wife on a trip to Niagara Falls. So if you're driving up northeast Ohio through to Niagara, he also took her all the way down to Washington, D.C., and then back up again through Virginia, back home to Ohio in a big circle, the same exact month that this woman disappeared. Yeah. And so the police were suspecting, well, you know, was she a runaway, or was she on the West Coast for any period of time? But even if she was, she would have washed her clothes and taken a shower. You know, my theory is she was in the trunk of this car that had been all over the United States, but primarily in California and Texas, Northern California and Texas. And he was a mechanic, so he hung on to his cars. He always had older model cars. You know, so we wouldn't be surprised if there was some way to physically connect him to that case too.
And I'm going to throw a wrench in the works here, guys. So forgive me.
Let me get her name.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Jay. I don't know if it's public knowledge. You've said this before. You want to talk about crazy bombshell breaking news? Did you hear what I said? Crazy bombshell breaking news. And I'm talking about a piece of potential evidence. You know that fancy dancy website they were on showing those letters? There's some typed letters. Jay, what are you in possession of?
I am in possession of his typewriter.
Whose typewriter?
My grandfather's. With we believe the original ribbon still in it. And that is like, you know, somebody I know got in trouble because they're like, I didn't, you know, that had a typewriter. It's a separate story. And they got in trouble because their mother was able to read the ribbon on what they wrote.
That's right. Now, I got to ask you, we're kind of bending around here a little bit. Have you examined this typewriter? I mean, if I was there, I would be wanting to read the ribbon. Have you tried that? Are you preserving it? What's the status of the typewriter?
I have not tried reading it. I am preserving it. We want to be able to put it in the hand of somebody where it's not going to disappear. Honestly, whoever that I put in charge of, I want them to watch it the whole time they do it. That's what I want. And if I could, I want to be there because I'm not going to walk away from it. Now, if it's if it turns out to be evidence, obviously I'm going to leave it there. You know, I truly believe it's going to be evidence. I truly believe it. And if the ribbon's not in there, maybe possibility, you know, this house, time is of the essence. We've talked about this, of having a lot of evidence on that farm. For example, when I was there, I
I had offered my services to fix the chimney for free. They said that my aunt said, no problem. All you had to do pay for the parts. She said, no problem. I got in that house. I took pictures of everything. Around the house, outside the house, everything. Just in case something moves. Well, I zoomed in to this bookshelf and found a 1969 Wood Dolls, WOODALLS, Trailer Parks, Campground, and Recreational, which stuck out to me. Now, why would he own just that book? Now, I talked to my mother. My mother said he would have, the old school map that he'd have snugged under his seat. Why would he pick that? Well, think about Blue Rock Springs, Lake Berryessa. Those are trailer park recreational. And we believe, and this company, you can't find a book. This is our last shot to find this book that's on his bookshelf that may have his fingerprints or something written down in there, marking a note or a plan. But I believe he bought this book specifically for 1969 and on to his multiple persona that he will carry, from cab driver to the 22-year-olds to hit and runs to beach jabbing and so on, right? To where even he would we believe he would answer or put an ad in the paper for babysitting just to take them girls, okay? We think that this guy's capable of doing all kind of stuff like that. So we need to get in that house. We need to get these items. We need to shut it down. We need a judge. We need somebody to shut this place down. And I believe that you're going to find a significant amount of evidence in this place. Now, I have said a story before. I have two memories of my grandfather. One in 1982. I was 6 years old. We visited the farm that morning. I was offered to put a pan of food out for the cats because they save the scrap for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and put water in it, and they feed the farm cats. There's like 50 cats, a miniature collie that acted like a cat, climbed trees like a cat. And I walked out through it with my grandfather, and I put this on the ground. One cat came, they all came. One was growling. He pulled out his .22 rifle and unalived that cat in front of me. Now, do I believe that cat is still buried on that property along with, that is why I got a metal detector. I actually got two of them. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready to find this. I'm ready to link these things. But if people are gone missing and they're gone, did this guy take anything, we're talked about all these crimes that showed no essay. Okay. Is it possible that he may have essayed people? Honestly, I think people like Donna Lass, I think like the co-eds, I think there's other victims that he may have done that and he just got rid of the bodies instead of just letting you find them. Like somebody who gets shot up or jabbed or, whatever. I think there's multiple crimes like this, JB. Multiple.
Let me ask you this, and forgive me if you I don't think you covered this, but with all respect, what did you have conversations with your mom?
I did. You know what?
And listen, hold on. Not here to exploit anyone. And that's a tough question. It may be personal. If you don't want to share that, I don't think there's anyone that's going to say shame on you. But that's a personal thing.
I have multiple recordings of my mother, and my mother told me when she passes to release them.
Enough said. I've never asked that question, and maybe I was out of line by asking. I don't know.
You're fine.
But copy that, understood. I think that's all we need to hear on that one. Rick, gotta ask you. Tanya, you're in here too, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
How old are you guys, Rick and Tanya? I know that Jay and his lovely wife, I know their answer, but are you guys in this for the long haul? Are you going to quit? Are you going to keep going? That's my
I'm
first
in here
question.
for the
Hold
long
on, that's my
haul.
first question. My second question is, what motivates you to continue?
I'm in here for the long haul, and I'm here because I want these families to finally get closure after 60 plus years, because I'm tired of people making money off the victim's back. And I want to see this case closed, and I'm not stopping until it is.
Rick?
Yeah, I'm in for the long haul. I've been interested in this case ever since I found out that Navy sailor and his wife were unalive so savagely. I mean, Ocean Beach, if you ever been there, it's beautiful. They got sunset cliffs. It's a beautiful beach, and it's my favorite beach. And just knowing that guy just married that young woman and just came back to their new apartment, and I found out a news article. Did you know that they were fishing every day? And we suspect the Zodiac liked fishing. We know his grandfather liked fishing. So the fact they're out there fishing every day, and all of a sudden this guy's ready with a 22 on top of the bluff, ready to go after him before that Ocean Beach pier. I've been committed to finding out the Zodiac, and I've always believed that we were going to find out. If he ain't a sailor, I don't know. He's going to be a military guy for sure. Like not prior military, but active duty. And this case is just fit like a glove into every facet you can imagine. Is just crazy how it's just all coming together.
I just, it amazes me. And listen, don't, I all credit to you guys. So don't take this the wrong way. I don't even know what you guys do for work. I don't know what your lifestyle is. Don't know what you do for hobbies. I know nothing about you guys. I truly don't. Other than you guys are some hard-charging, super sleuths. And I'm speaking to the community in the chat. Guys, if you can't see the sincerity and the drive that these folks have to get this solved, and more importantly, the passion, right? There's an old saying, Rick, that you can't BS a BSer, right? And you can't.
Yeah.
And I watch your eyes, I watch your body language, and you guys are over the target, and it's amazing what a bunch of cyber sleuths can do compared to what law enforcement has done in this case. You guys, you're light years ahead of the cops.
Yeah, I actually want to take the opportunity to talk about my team. When this started, I'm blessed to have my wife who put so much time and effort and resources into this. And then without forcing in anything, and then we have Rick, who I come across, who was definitely, it took him a year. It took him a year, and this guy's a busy guy, runs multiple sites on the internet, and for him and me to click like we do, and then Voices for Victims, being an advocate for missing and having a tragedy happen to her when in a time where we get together, where we needed each other, and but everyone, just like you, Jamie, had doubts. Everybody's been at ground zero, and they both can tell you after their research and trying to debunk what I have and not be able to poke holes in what we have. They both said to me, in their honest opinion, they're like, J Crime, if I had $1 million right now, I'd bet it all on this guy, and like when we get together, when we collaborate together, the different types of thinkers we are, I mean, we make magic happen. We do. And I am so blessed to have them part of this case. I would not ask for anybody else.
and I'm very grateful for these opportunities that we've been given. And you know, and I know these other cases of people that go missing and these crimes that happen are very important. This guy's gone, you know, and people don't have to worry about him being around anymore. But I really believe that between the four of us, if our eyes did get on other cases, I think that we definitely put a dent in the unsolved, you know. So hats off to all of them, you know, for what they do. And I started this mess with them, you know, and they cleaned it up for me. Now I'm just on TikTok putting my face behind the screen, and they do all the work, man. It's amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Let's do this. I know that we've had a bunch of questions. We had a little bump there, Jay, with the restriction. I think that shadowed us for a while. Our numbers are up now, so I think we're beyond the restriction. But I really want to get some folks up to ask their questions because we promised them that. But here's something, Alondra or one of the mods, and we put up a poll. I mean, a lot of these folks have been here since we hit the on button, guys, and this is what we promised. Put up a poll, guilty or innocent, and you guys have to vote. You've been here all this time. There's 100 some people in here. Vote the dadgum poll. If we can get a poll up, and you guys be fair, you'd be honest. And if you don't think they've met the threshold of proving they're over the target, vote innocent. Or yes or no. Whatever you guys, the mods, you figure it out. But be truthful in the poll in your answer. And if you don't think they're over the target and you think this is junk science, your vote will count. But I gotta tell you, I don't want to sway anyone. Here, before we get them up there, I gotta say this. I've been around the block. I don't have a lot of experience, about 35 years, very short time in the business, right? I intentionally took notes tonight. First time I've ever taken notes on your case, Jay and team. And I started doing my darndest to start calling you out respectfully and start punching holes as we go. Because I interrupted you a couple times for a reason. Here's my vote, if it means anything to your team. The pictures with the inscriptions on the back of the photographs, I think, in my opinion, weigh heavily of the number 22. I do think, and I'm not a handwriting expert, but if you look at that, and someone in the chat even mentioned the width and the length of those letters compared to the 22s are similar. I mean, my vote would be yes on the photographs and the inscriptions and the writings. But here's the $100,000 prize, in my opinion, Rick. The records, the dates, him out cruising on a naval vessel or helicopter. He's taking time on leave. And you have unalivings, documented numbers and reports don't lie, documented that these were occurring while he was on leave or on shore. So that's my second. And then here's what really got me. Jay, when you opened this thing up, you had that scarecrow looking guy. I call it the scarecrow with the pumpkin around his crotch. You can't make that stuff up. And if you really take a look and listen to what Jay presented as far as the stick figure, it matches. The letters match. So, I mean, that's 3 solid facts that I heard tonight. And then I think the closing part, I'm really hung up, and this is just an opinion, not facts. I'm really hung up on your grandfather working at this funeral home, the access that he had to potential bodies. I do think unaliving that cat is a red flag because it starts with animals. But here's the deal. I mean, there's 4 points with an opinion. If you're not voting that poll, please vote and vote truthfully. But guys, I think if I was there, I would look at you guys in the eyes and shake your hands and say, well done, you're over the target. Here's the problem. You have all of this great information. And I think the presentation, it's one of the best I've ever seen, even in the law enforcement community. You've got to get it to the right people. And I swear, if it were I would be on a plane, and I would be in Washington, and I would be hitting the Department of Justice, the Naval Criminal Intelligence Section. I saw someone in the comments, the Department of Defense. Leave the politics out of this thing for just a moment, because politicians are politicians. But here's the deal. We have an administration, I think, that would sit down and earnestly listen and have an interest, because it is, Jay, it's the most unsolved, iconic crime in America. That's my closing. There, I just closed it for you. That would be my closing argument.
Said.
And Jamie, just so you know, on the USS Enterprise thing, we follow all the groups on all the aircraft his grandfather worked on. So we're heavily engulfed in learning where the F-4 Phantoms went, where they fly, and we've got nothing but evidence. But the one evidence on USS Enterprise, Jamie, that we found, a Navy sailor that was on there that day said that the Huffer had been messed with, so they had to modify it. That's why it got closer to the missile. The Huffer, the refueling car.
Yes, for the explosion.
We have the screenshot of the guy saying that it was messed with, and they modified it so it got shortened to make it go off. And his grandfather worked on that equipment.
And adding on to that, I had enough because I was like, my grandfather was on this ship, and they were like, and I said, and he jumped off. What was it? The question, I was like, my grandfather was on the ship. Did you know him? Nobody said anything. I had enough, and sometimes I just get this feeling, and I'm like, my grandfather was on this ship. He jumped off into the water. This is what kicked it off, this whole conversation. So then one of the veterans go, what are you talking about? Nobody jumped off. Then another veteran goes, what are you talking about? Our ship came over and pushed seawater onto that ship to put that fire out, and we picked up men out of the water, and that guy zipped it. Then
and add on to that, I found a picture of the ship that was over there pushing the seawater onto the. If you remember, J. Crime, I sent you that picture.
I mean, that's all vital. Let me jump in here real quick. Melissa, please forgive me.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Sure. I have a couple questions.
I know you voted. Don't tell us what your vote is.
No, I didn't. As a mod, I can't. But I believe that they have definitely proved their case above and beyond. So I have a couple questions.
Give us a couple, 2 takeaways on what you've heard.
I'm very interested in hearing and seeing more. I didn't know a lot about this case other than it was unsolved, right? I've seen a couple of the Netflix movies or documentaries, but we all know that they slice and dice those for ratings, and it's not always reality. So you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt. But I have a couple questions. Have the people that have seen him, that were able to provide the details for the sketches, are they still alive? Are you able to get in touch with them and show them like an actual picture of your grandfather to see if they can remember or correlate the pictures?
I got this, guys. So what we were saying earlier, there's a couple people. There's the Lake Berryessa, Mike Magoo, who survived. He's a lawyer, but
That's Brian Hartnell.
I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Brian Hartnell.
They both survived, but yes.
Yeah, so that day was a Lake Berryessa. He was wearing the executioner hood. So the only thing you could say is he's this high and this kind of build. Mm-hmm. Now,
at the Presidio, Paul Stein, as I was showing in my sample, putting my face behind the Zodiac sketch where I match up, when I put my head down, it matches up because there's 3 kids that saw him do that, and there's only one of them alive. So time is of the essence. We want to get a hold of her, right? And try to find her. We need to get this out there. We need to find her. She's in a protection program back then. No, so we need to find her. And I believe, now let me just show you this, what we didn't show. Okay. But Jamie brought up about my stick figure in the corner. Okay. Now, this is a picture of my grandfather in 1969 in California. When those kids were looking down, it was a man in a green shirt and a brown pants. So we have that picture, okay, and he's wearing that same outfit and the Zodiac watch.
I was just going to ask, is that the Zodiac watch?
This is where this sketch came from, is this 6-foot stand-up that we brought to CrimeCon to show the world, because we're like, we got to put it in your face for people to just grasp it and get it right away, because and Rick makes a good point, and so does my team, is that, we're trying to focus in on the Zodiac. We have a B list that you wouldn't believe, okay? But when we start talking about B list, it's just too much for people. They can't, it's overload of the brain. So, and even like to your point, Jamie, in Nashville, you're just learning about this, okay? This is a lot of info. We spent over 100,000 hours of time doing this. I mean, and not all of it was some of it was dead ends, but at the end of the day, we have a research path. I couldn't even tell you how long it would take you to go down this road. It could take, it took Rick, being busy, and took him a year. And then that's not even including all the stuff we did 2.5 years beyond what we did together. You know what I'm saying? So this is a lot.
You're trying to cram like 5 years worth of research into a couple hours for us. So that's impossible, right? You got to pull out the big pieces. So
we believe 42 years.
No, I meant 5 years of your research.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he did this for 42 years. This is a lot longer for us to do it. This is not even over. We have a lot
and
more.
we're still working on the B list, guys. We've still got cases that we got to confirm. I mean, we found in Hawaii the 2 Marines that was there was cryptic messages wrote in the sand. I mean, we've still got a B list like you wouldn't believe that we still got to try to confirm that we think our suspect done it, and we think it's over 200 people that he unalived, maybe even more.
What about anybody how old would he be right now if he were still alive?
92.
Is there anybody that he has served with that is still alive that you've been able to get in touch with?
I mean, we've talked to some people where they're like, oh, well, we've seen him, but he was a private person. We don't think I don't think there's many people. I mean, what it comes down to is, like I said, that one, would be adult now, obviously. The kid at the time, that woman that's seen him, if we can get that in front of her, I believe that's enough to just get this rolling. If we can get departments that we believe these cases are connected to take my family DNA, but a lot of people, they freeze up when we say the word Zodiac.
Yeah. Do you think that's because he was military and people are afraid to go there?
I think that's definitely part of it.
You would think that, I mean, it's been so long though, you would almost think that the people who may have turned away, not seen it, should have seen it, whatever, are gone.
The truth is that even though, like Jamie said, that it'd give him a black eye, I mean, we have other serial unalivers that were convicted that were also serving. So, I mean, it is what it is. It happened. He did it. These families, this case, I mean, we need to shut this all down and stop all these fake theories. These families we're connected with, they're part of my TikTok. They're in my Book of Faces group that we met with, we cried with, we hugged. You know, I mean, they've told us their personal story and how and what they went through, even after their sister was unalived, and this guy continued to call them and screw with them and terrorize them. It's horrible,
Crazy.
you know.
You know, Jay, I worked I still do some consulting stuff. I was up in Washington in the district for a week at a time, or 7 days, 8 days at a time for several months recently. And I had a case that no one will listen to. Nobody would pay it any attention. But let me tell you something. When you make the contacts and you get to DC and you get that face-to-face meeting, in this case, I met with Ed Martin, met with Bondi's assistant on 2 different occasions, and got it inside the Oval Office. So, I mean, it's doable. I just, the more I hear this, the more I watch, the more I listen, the more I think, this has got to be shopped in DC.
Have you thought
Sure,
about
yeah.
doing your own podcast so
This
you
is my
can go
opinion, why?
through?
You've got so many
multiple-
small agencies involved. You've got so many departments involved. When they start hearing the word Zodiac, they're shy. They step away because it's confusing. It's a lot of internal working parts that you guys are presenting. And quite candidly, I don't think half of these cops are smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. It's going to take somebody at DOJ to sit down and actually read and look at a presentation. I think you'll get some attention.
I would
I'll
think
tell
it
you-
would be a huge, like.
Well, I know you were going to say, Jamie, from Nashville. We got offered to write a book. We got offered to be on a podcast, 12 episodes with 5 million viewers a week. It costs money. They want us to pay money.
They want
You know,
you to spend money.
Right. So, but I'll tell you what, Jamie, up top there, the host, you're the voice of reason. You're the voice that can get us in the door.
But here's the deal. Maybe this should be talked about off. No, it needs to be talked about here. Here's the deal. You can go on the Howard Stern show tomorrow. And you can
I'm
go
out.
on there every day for the next 30 days. And let me tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get
I
a
would
lot of
rather-
likes. You're going to get a lot of views, but it's not going to get where it needs to get by a podcast.
Right.
It's got to be taken to someone that's credible, that's intelligent, but more importantly, someone that's going to sit down and look at the presentation. That's just my opinion.
No, it's
But
true.
you guys, Jamie, they're over the target.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Like, yeah.
We
And
got
And we
this
didn't
guy.
even talk about some of the DNA. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, like they said, they haven't even touched on how many years of his life. Just the little bit that they do have in the grand scheme of things. I would think somebody would want that, like, I don't know the right word, like on the record to say, hey, we found the guy. Like you guys did a lot of the work, but they'd have to still do more work, right? But to put that on their resume or whatever to say, hey, we identified this guy. I was part of it.
I just want to clarify something to everybody. When we started, we used our own personal time all the way to where we're at. We used our own personal money. We got people telling us to write a book, do a documentary. People offered me to play the Zodiac in a movie. I don't effing care. If I wanted money, I'll go work for it. This ain't about it.
Right.
Now, am I responsible for what happened to these people? No. Do I have a sense of responsibility to do something about it? Yes. Now, some people could say we put the cart before the horse, but here's the truth of the matter. If we would have kept this to ourselves, okay, would we be here where we're at today? No. I'll tell you why. Because so many theories, so many books fighting information machines. We have a respectful 20-year veteran up here being disrespected by these different groups
because he backs up our info and what we're doing. They're so toxic. We need to get directly to where we need to go with a clear path, enough of the bumps, enough of the distractions. People need to stop coming up with new theories and all this crap that doesn't even meet any criteria at all, just to get clicks and views.
Well, that's what I say, Jay. You can go on the Howard Stern show tomorrow, and you can go there for the next 30 days, and you're just going to be another story of the Zodiac, and it's not going to get you where you need to be. So the podcast, it's great. The movie would be great, but it's not going to get you where you need to go. That's just my opinion. And I'm sitting here frustrated for you. So if I sound a little salty, I am, because damn the system.
Yeah. They don't even, I mean, not even to say that, hey, they're part of finding that, but just to give those families a little bit of closure. And all the families that they didn't even know were part of this case, right? I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, there's cases, Jamie, you wouldn't believe the cases that we believe our suspect had something to do with it, that they never even thought that was even had anything to do with the Zodiac. I mean, there's so many of them.
And let me say another thing. Jamie, we're blessed to have you on TikTok. No, I know. I want to say this. No, I want to say this. When I first got on here, and many people on here can say this, you know, there's some good people on here, and there's some bad people on. Okay? There's some people that probably shouldn't be doing what they're doing on here. Okay? And they're not here today listening when they should be. If the people in the true crime community, if they really care enough more about themselves, their ego, clicks, views, and gifts, okay? We need more people like you on this app and push the bullshit off of here, because I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of the riffraff. I'm sick of that. You're not going to get it with people like you. And I respect what you do and what you've done. And I'm very happy and blessed to be here, and my whole team. We're so excited to be here today. And we thank you so much. I just want to tell you.
I thank you. I hear you. And here's the deal. I want to answer it this way. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to go out and willy-nilly say something just to hear myself talk, but more importantly, to impress somebody in the chat. But I think it's not me. It's not me. I swear to God, it's not me. Here's the connection, and I'm going to connect the dots for you as to why I think this is the best community besides yours on any platform. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to make it up. I'm going to get one of the experts that I bring on that knows the answer and not bullshit people and tell the truth. And you're right. I wish people were more responsible, but you know what? I was told by Leslie, and I love Leslie like a sister. It's social media. That's the way it is. Move on.
Unfortunately.
And but you know what? The small group that we have, we're going to build on it, Jay, with you guys as well. And you know what? If we have 25 people watching, at least those 25 people are going to get fed facts and not a fairy tale. So I thank you guys. It's not me. It's the community.
And if there's anything that I can do to help, Rick, while you were talking, I think Jay Crime might have been talking, I sent you a message. If there's anything that I can do, you know, I'm pretty savvy in PowerPoint. If there's anything I can do, like to help put something together so you're able to go through your presentations and easily pull up your samples and your comparisons and things like that, I'm more than happy to help. Just let me know if there's anything that I can do.
Thank you.
I think you guys got a good thing here, and I don't want you to get frustrated because some people aren't listening and give up.
All right. I got to get this thing off my screen. Here's the poll. You ready for this, Jay Cram and team? Do you think Lauren D. Hill is guilty? 96.15 voted yes. 3.85% voted no. And I wish we had time. I would love to bring the no's up to find out why and like kind of pull the jury, right?
Right.
But you know, we respect that, right? And we want honesty and sincerity and the truth on these votes. And that's, Jay, you got the truth.
Maybe we could sway them because we lacked some information. Because my sister did submit DNA almost 2 years ago, and 4 months after she did submit it, she did get an email, and in that email said that our family DNA was attached to an unidentified body. Once that happens, we believe, and I'm not a detective, that it opens up an investigation. Why do I believe that? Because 30 days later, we got another hit, and they didn't tell us what that is.
I got the chills when you said that.
Now, the question of the DNA has popped up a lot, and I intentionally ignored it, Alondra.
Can I answer that?
Yes, but I wanted to save this for last.
We got that kind of percentage without DNA. That's amazing.
Yes.
So on the DNA, the editor of Vallejo Times came to CrimeCon and she talked to me about it. She said they only have a partial match on the one case. So partial means, and what the lady in the comments wasn't understanding is, partial means even if Jay Crime and his sister do it, there's still 50% of that DNA that's not being able to be matched. So they're not going to match it. So we would need, I said, we need his mom's DNA. And she's like, no, zoom the body. Like she wants us to bring his grandpa up out of the grave and get the body up. So we would need full on 100% his DNA to get a match on a partial.
Well, that option is on the table if we have to. You know what I mean?
Do you guys have a GoFundMe or anything where people can help support you if needed?
We were hoping to figure out how to do some kind of crowdsourcing to do and continue what we're doing. I mean, this is the biggest unsolved crime, and this is coming from the grandson, you know. And when people talk to me, oh, do a movie, do a podcast, you know, put yourself in my shoes. I'm not a podcaster, but you can have a podcast and you can interview me because I'm not proud to be up here. I tell Jamie all the time, I'm like, I got a blank check with your name on it if you could roll them out. I would rather you do that than this guy be the Zodiac and my grandfather. But unfortunately, you're not going to be. And I have to be part of the unlucky lottery ticket out of the millions and billions of people in the world. I got to look like the guy. And then he's my grandfather. You know, that is not great. You know,
I would say try and look at it is that with your hard work, you're going to be able to bring some families closure. Instead of feeling like it's, you know, unlucky,
I understand.
You know, you're going to be able to help some people sleep better at night.
I agree.
All right, let's bring a couple more people up. Jamie?
I'll drop down. Yep.
Hey, Jamie.
Yes,
real quick, don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Jay, she just threw herself out there. She threw herself under the bus. She volunteered. You can't see her, but she had her hand up. Put her to work.
For real, yeah.
If I love the idea of taking it, putting it together. I love it. Where I really believe we need help is getting people to listen to these cases that we are talking about. And I talked to, you know, the host about, you know, us doing press releases. And he's the perfect one for them to listen to, because just because you make a press release doesn't mean they're going to make a press release. Right. So you need somebody that has experience, that has the knowledge, that has the connections to do that. You know, we need that. And then we also need boots on the ground. We talked about pre-65, things that are not digital. We're all over everything from 65 and up. But there's a lot of gaps. We believe there's a lot of things from early. It could be, you know, I mean, in 1948, he's around 16 years old. I mean, was he doing it that early? we'd have to get boots on the ground and go through these archives and go through and find it. Now, could we find something? Yeah, we could. Did he have a, as Voices for Victims always brings up, did he have a juvenile record that got covered up? I mean, maybe. Did he essay somebody? Did he unalive a cat and get in trouble, or, you know, something stupid? I mean, what other things can we connect it to? Can we get the Navy to pull logbook records to tighten this up more? Can we pull plane records to tighten this up more? What about the stuff they didn't put in the records that we don't have, where there's a year gap of nothing in reserves? I don't believe that he didn't do nothing during that time. So,
And that's another thing I wanted to talk to Jamie about. His juvenile record, Jamie. Is there any way that we can get that? We can't get it uncovered. Even
not without a court order.
Not without a court order.
we got to give them good reason. We have it.
We have good reason.
But you have to have you have to have a case. You have to be in a case to get a court order. So you just can't go down and say, hey, judge, I want a court order. So,
But can you get it from when he turned 18? As of 18, can you go back
Yes.
and see if he has any records? Any
Yes.
records?
yes.
18 and on.
Yep. Let me see. We're still over here.
Now, if any of
Dan
his,
dropped down. We had a couple people in here. I want to say one more thing before we drop down here. I'm convinced, and you guys have offered zero proof, but I'm convinced this cat did this at a very young age. I'm convinced he's unalived a bunch of animals along the way when he was a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, my spidey senses, I go right back to that funeral home. Man, you've got to find some records. You got to find something, something missing, something suspicious. There's something at that funeral home that's going to help connect this stuff.
I agree.
That's just
Has there
my
been
opinion.
anything said about him like taking trophies or anything from his victims?
Zodiac, yes. The Zodiac was known to take wallets. The swindle case, the one said they did take a Timex watch, and they said it might have had paint on it, which I thought was weird because Sergio Bates, they found a Timex watch with paint on it. So I was like, did he leave the swindle watch?
And
And
from
then,
what
like, a lot of it hasn't been found. Then I take it.
from what I hear, there's a old storm shelter on that farm property, and you can't see it, nowhere to be found. So it's there somewhere. And there's an old outhouse there, which would be a perfect place to throw stuff in.
Yeah.
And there was some property sold. Now there's a house that was sold next door to his second wife, sister, which I have an inkling feeling, would they build it on?
Oh yeah. Who owns that farmhouse now? Is it somebody you know?
Well, there's some legal stuff going on, and so I am supposed to end up buying this property. Okay. And if everything goes right, I'm going to own this property. And when I own this property, it's either the feds or whoever's getting in first. I have no sentimental value other than wanting to find clues to solve these cases. So I really believe there's going to be a lot of dots to connect in this place, because like I said, if after he retires in 74, moves back to his hometown of Ohio, he gets a job at a Honda plant, he's head of security for third shift. Can you imagine what he's doing on his way to work and then on his way home?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, we found a lot of cases where it's a 22 used, someone found in a ditch. People end up missing. Okay, so if he's local now, what is he doing with these bodies?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to be burying them, I would think, somewhere.
And here's what I have. There's an old family cemetery on that property, and that would be a perfect place to bury somebody else in that old cemetery.
Absolutely. Nobody'd question it there.
So we've 5.5, 6 years to think about all this. We're way ahead of everybody. We just want everybody to take a look, take a listen, and catch up. You know, you could look at the FBI files online about the Zodiac for as much as you can get, and that's a good amount to really know the case and not be biased by or looking at and watching these movies.
I'm almost afraid to do that because is it real information? Like
with FBI files.
Oh, FBI files. I missed that. Okay.
And then if you study each suspect, you would see that if we had what I really would love to create, Jamie, is a point system. And as weird as that sounds, but if we looked at Arthur Lee Allen, that was the top suspect, and all these other people and we did a point system. If I created a point system, or we created a point system on how many X's or how many check marks, I think we could borrow a lot to them, and they still won't have enough.
You know, I have a friend of mine. He's been on this show. I call him the professor. Works for one of the top black op companies for the government that's out there. I've done a bunch of consulting for that company at DOD and FBI. I'm just kind of thinking, and I'm not going to give the name of anyone, but I'm thinking of calling the professor tomorrow. He is the CTO of this company, Chief Technical Officer. The guy is a brain. He's been on the program. And you hit the nail on the head. I want to see if the professor has an idea and has a way, if you scan all these documents and they're on a hard drive or some type of device, they have some incredible stuff that they just released to the FBI that's not on the market, but they have some civilian products that are on the market. What would the algorithm in their AI say, and how much could it streamline putting and connecting the dots and actually scoring the evidence? Exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to reach out to him tomorrow. I don't know what he'll say.
I mean, we're talking circumstantial, but we have a boatload of it.
Well, let me correct you respectfully. You may have some circumstantial stuff, but my friend, you have, in my opinion, hard facts. You have dates. You have facts. So don't get wrapped around that circumstantial stuff. You have factual data, factual documents that you can't dispute.
And I think you filled in a lot of blanks with why he went dormant for so long. Well, he didn't go dormant. They just didn't know where to look. You fill in those years.
So what Rick put up in the screen there. So if you look on the left, you know, we showed you the military picture of my grandfather boot camp. Okay, and the sketch on the right is pre-Zodiac. So we used AI responsibly, and we asked AI just to make his picture not smile, and that is the results of it.
When you say pre-Zodiac, what do you mean, Jay Crane?
He was operating from as early as 1954.
Okay, so before he actually called himself the Zodiac.
Yeah,
going back to his teens.
Yeah, we have cases that are pre-Zodiac, that the sketches and description match the same person.
Okay.
We believe he's a multi-persona, and I say theatrical because if you look at all the quotations and all the things that he pulled into these letters from referencing books and movies, a multiple persona theatrical serial killer that operated from 1954 to his death in 1996. Now, our team together, we did our own poll. How many do we think this guy's responsible for? We believe over 300 right now.
And ask me that question.
How many?
1,000.
You think it could be that high?
Yep.
And we're not including the men he unalived in Korea or Cuba or Vietnam.
And
Now,
that was my
here's-
point. Don't get hung up that all of this stuff occurred in the U.S. while he was on shore duty.
Oh, we suspect it, Jamie, when he was in doing his tours. And we suspect another thing. Now, we talked about the USS Enterprise ship blowing up. Well, I just recently found that one of their squadrons that he was on also was on that previous with the John McCain where that accident happened.
No, I think he continued when he was in other countries. I think he didn't stop.
No, someone like that doesn't just stop that.
Well, here's the most credible reason, in my opinion, as to why I think he did this overseas. You're going back eons ago. The policing was a lot different than it is now. You have no technology. And let me tell you something. You could unalive a bunch of people in some third world country and never, ever, ever raise suspicion.
We agree.
Yep.
I don't know. It just I get frustrated for you. I mean, now I'm thinking Interpol. I'm thinking Switzerland, The Hague. I think it has global exposure. I don't think it's just in the United States, Jay. I think it's
Europe.
Global.
We know he was in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
We know he did the European tour. Right. So we know he was in Korea. We know he was in Vietnam. We know when these ships dock, they visit the property, they visit the land. We suspect the same type of crimes where he would steal cars, commit crimes, unalive lovers' lanes, unalive anybody that remotely, because we have motive, right? His wife leaves him. That's 22. She's got red hair. She was pregnant at the time. Who do you think he was trying to unalive? Women that were 22, around that age, had the red hair, pregnant, and anybody that looked like they were in love. So,
Yeah,
and that's.
I want to throw up my hands and say the system sucks.
I just think this was a perfect storm, and it was a perfect time and a perfect opportunity for him to get away with it without me saying that I'm giving him an excuse, because there's no effing excuse for unaliving somebody unless you're protecting your own life for whatever circumstance, whatever incident. But to go out and unalive people that have families and children and, it's and lives and responsibilities and people counting on them is just disgusting. And that part I'm not proud of. That part of being that part of the, but again, people come at me and they're like, are you going to live the legacy on? I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Or do you have any tendencies? Are you kidding me?
Listen, off topic a little bit, but on topic. I was doom scrolling today, right? I read on your live, and you had that the black fellow on, and you gave him all kinds of props, right? Like, hey, you're a great guy. You listened, very impressed with your listening skills. And the next word out of the guy's mouth was, "Well, I'm on the fence about you." I think you have tendencies. Are you?
If you either care or you don't care. But here's the thing about this case: it brings out the best and the worst out of people.
Well, of course.
And when people say to me, with their ignorance, "Oh, you're lying. It's you."
Oh,
what?
Oh yeah, all the time.
No wait. Do they think you just look really, really good for your age?
Yeah, I'm like I'm drinking blood. I'm a vampire. Get out of here.
Hey Brian, welcome, man. Hope you're feeling well. Did you enjoy what you heard tonight? I know you're not a stranger to this case, but it was presented very well.
Yes, sir, Jamie. I'm not going to be on here very long, but there's a few things I'd like to strike on. One of the main things that got me on this case with Jay Crime was that the DNA in his family he had a hit on that. And the thing with the cat, that was, unaliving. That was, something, a trait of the serial killer, or a serial unaliver. Whatever. And the thing, I think his grandfather's mind got kind of twisted around whenever he was 14 years old, I believe Jay Crime said, when he was in the funeral home. And I believe that twisted his mind into doing some of the things that he did.
Right.
And, but I just wanted to hit on those few things. And like I said, I'm not going to be on here long. I've been listening for a good while. I've just been sitting back. And I'm really going to do anything I can to help Jay Crime with this. Anything he wants me to look up or whatever, I'm going to help him if he asks. But I'm a true believer they're spot on what happened. And I'm anxious to see for this to all come to an end so people can get closure for the families and what have you.
I'm with you, brother.
Thank
But
you.
I'm going to drop on down. Yeah, you too, Jay Crime and Voices and everybody, and Rick. But I'm going to get off here. I've got somebody on the other line, and I got to talk with them. And but I just wanted to put that out there. And there's some other things I could hit on, but that's the three main things I wanted to say right there. But y'all guys have a good afternoon, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Brian, thank you.
Brian.
Stay well.
Yeah.
Stay well.
Oh, I will. I'm trying to stay healthy.
Better get some good reports on you in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I appreciate y'all looking out for me. But y'all have a good night.
Thanks, Pete.
All right. Bye.
You can drop me down too, Jamie, if you want to bring someone else up.
I don't think there's anyone else asking. There were some people in there. They with respect, I kind of overlooked them because I didn't want to interrupt the presentation. So, guys, I apologize for that. I just didn't want to mess up the flow.
I think you should do another poll after hearing the rest of that, with adding that DNA to that. I think that's what that was it about 3%, 4% that said no.
Right,
and I'm wondering if
can we do the same poll again and do it and run it for 3 or 4 minutes and see if that swayed the 3%? You just put up the same poll, but you guys have to vote. There you go. Green Eyes is agreeing already. I don't know if she was one of the 3%ers, but if she was, you guys got Green Eyes' vote. And the poll is up. Hey, we're getting pretty good at this TikTok thing, man. We got polls. Let this thing run for a couple minutes, but guys, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, now's the time before we end this thing. So request, jump up here, be part of the show. I'll see another one convinced. Let's see. Susan's convinced. So get the voting, guys. Angela agrees guilty and wishes we could get on the wishes you guys could go on the property. And the poll is up here, guys. So vote. Jay, let me ask you another question while we're waiting on this poll. What if you had one wish that would set you over the top on this case? What would it be? I know you have like a wish list or a need list. What's the one thing that needs to happen that will help push it over?
You're muted, just in case you didn't know.
Thank you. That's a tough question, and that's probably the hardest question ever asked. I'll be honest with you. And I always tell everyone there's no such thing as hard questions, but you flanked me. I would really have to think about that, because between the DNA, like getting people to listen for these cases, I mean, that's high up on the list. But I really feel in my heart that the people that were victims and the families, giving them closure, and if it was all up to me to get in front of that witness that saw Paul Stein get on the line, I think that alone would put the nail in the coffin and really open this investigation up. And if like Oceanside or Riverside, type places like that, we're able to, take some time and look into what we have, and if they were able to see our presentation. But I think that high on the list that's pushed it up is what Jamie made a point of, our host, is finding somebody in Washington that has some juice and they can make things happen. And if we can find someone that's in politics, like you said, whether it's Democrat or Republican or independent or whoever it is, that where people listen to their voice, I think that we have a lot of options right now, along with that typewriter, along with the writing samples, and the timeline. I mean, we have the full package, and it takes some time to study it, and not everybody has the brain or the capacity to do so. So I applaud everyone being as patient as you are, listening to all of us talk. My wife's father told me, be patient or become one. And I live by that.
That's true. I mean, it takes a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah. Balance.
True Crime with T. Hey, welcome. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. Hi. Most of you guys already know. Rick, J Crime, and Voices, and Melissa already know who I am. Hi, I'm a fellow YouTuber. I used to be on a lot. I haven't been on a lot. But I do have a question. Now, I was in the comments earlier, and somebody mentioned something happened with the DNA. Did you get a match? Or you can't really say right now?
So they don't give you much information, okay? They don't give you much information, but when we submitted the DNA, we got an email that stated that our DNA matched to an unidentified body. So
Are you serious? Oh my God. See, I knew I had faith in y'all. That's some good news.
Hey T, I gotta ask. You ready?
Yes.
Are we friends?
Yes, we are.
Where are you from?
Baltimore.
I can hear it.
Well, everybody says that, like, oh my God, he's like, you sound just like where you're from. I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't hear it. I don't know.
I hear it.
Yeah. But I'm so proud of you guys, how far you have came. I was one of the ones that listened to you guys from the beginning, and I'm really so proud of y'all. Congratulations on the CrimeCon. I wasn't able, thank you, J Crime. I wasn't able to be there or to watch, but I got a lot of things going on over here. But I am going to start coming back live again, so you're more than welcome to come over and spread the love over there too.
Good.
Yeah, I need to go back. Thank you.
Hey, we made a new friend tonight, man. I like that. All right, sister. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna drop down. Oh, can you drop me down?
Yes.
Okay, I'll follow back.
Love you, True Crime T. We love you.
Love
Thank
you
you so much
too.
for your long time support. We really love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. You ready for the new poll results? Jay,
Yes.
you sitting down?
I am ready, and I just want to say that I just want everybody to know that my sister, who submitted the DNA, is in this box. Yeah, I threw you under the bus, sister.
No pressure there.
Oh, I see her. She snuck in, Jay. Hey, here's the results. You all sitting down? You ready for this?
We're ready.
What do you think it is, Jay?
I would say that it's really close to the same number, if not a couple points higher.
I'm going to be like a used car salesman. Do better. I'm going to give you one more try, Jay.
I mean, I'll tell you what, when I was in 8th grade, everybody in that school was very, very smart, and it was a rich neighborhood. We did the U.S. Constitution. I got 100 out of 100, and I was the only one.
What's that number, Jay?
100%.
You guessed it. Boom, you're right on the target. 100%.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. This can be solved, guys. We got it. We got this wrapped up. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
And real quick, we'll get to your sister, but you guys have been around for a while. These folks in this chat are very sincere. They're honest. And Jay, if they don't like something, they're going to tell you, go shop your snake hole somewhere else. So I think this poll is a very good representation of the work that your team has done. And I think you're on it.
Thank you so much for your kind words, everybody, and your support. And that's what we need. We need more voices, because the more voices we have, the louder our voices are. And we can move mountains.
So, Miss Sister, how are you?
I'm well, and you?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm just here, riding J Crime's coattails. I can't take any credit for any of this research, unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotta ask you. I'm gonna ask you something. We're friends, right?
Absolutely.
When you first heard of this endeavor, were you like, this is crazy, we're not doing this? Or were you like all in? Give us a little bit of history.
I was torn for many reasons. Well, for obvious reasons, family. People are not going to react well to the news, obviously. But I've been 100% supportive of J Crime and Melissa's research and their journey. So they know I'm here if they need me for anything.
You're the best. We love you so much.
And I love you guys too.
Guys, I gotta do it. Hello, sister.
Hey.
So I don't know if have you been here for a while? Did you see the results of the first poll?
I did.
100% this time. So, that DNA was the swaying vote, that information that captured all the votes. And hey, you're a big part of that.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say she is part of that research, because she did
Part of that.
Yeah. There was, yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, I believe genealogical DNA research is going to help. So, that's one thing we did, was we sat down and submitted it to DNAjustice.org, GEDmatch, and then we submitted both J Crime and his sister's DNA to Othram. And Othram will test on over 100, and I think it's like 128 data points, whereas typically they just test on like 12 markers. And what Othram does is they'll create a DNA profile that they can use for inference, and as again another tool for law enforcement. So every single day that technology is advancing, and whether we have to exhume, we'll do that, but we're hoping that we'll be able to advance this football over that line without it.
Yeah, Green Eyes made a very good comment. The DNA and the handwriting and the typewriter ribbon I think is, man, I sure would like to open that typewriter up. You just can't, but I would love to. You just can't do it. But I think that's an intricate part of this thing. That may be your solid rock that sells everything.
Yeah. And other physical evidence, right? I mean, we're all about cooperating.
You know, the unaliving the cat, the potential projectile that's going to be gathered by those bones of the cat. That's
Huge.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
Someone's buffering that's up. Hey, how are you? Can you hear us? I think she's buffering. Or they're buffering. Yeah, and Jinjack says, wow, y'all have so much evidence. So I mean, guys, they see what you're putting down. And I don't know anyone that can punch holes into this thing. I want to. I want to punch holes in it badly.
When we met with the FBI in San Francisco, we brought my mother and we went to all the crime scenes. And my mother's like, I've been here before and I fished here with my father. And there was times where she was told to stay in the car for an hour or two. Who knows what he did during that time? Same time. But when we were in the FBI, big echo. Thank you. So what we didn't have as much as we have now. They had their ears open. They listened to us. They actually said to me and my wife that they were impressed with what we had. And my mom, out of nowhere, says, I need to tell you something before I leave. And we both looked at each other and looked at my mom, and she got really emotional. And she told me when she was a kid, she tried running away to find her mother. He tracked her down, found her, grabbed her by her shoulders, pulled her real close face to face, and said, if you ever try doing that again, I will unalive you, and I've unalived a lot of people. She suppressed that memory up to that point. It's very emotional. This is our story, and we want to tell it.
Well, I have been thoroughly impressed. Let's go to your sister. In closing, we'll give everybody a chance, and then Jay and I are going to put it down. What are you looking forward to? What's the next move that you want to see happen in the case?
Pretty much what Jay Crime was saying. Just we just need that one person to kind of open that door for us and take us to that next level. Someone famous, I guess, Jeff. I don't know who he has in mind. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to get the case, closed, and for the families to get their resolution and get their closure. I mean,
Susan in the chat says, quote, that just put another nail in the coffin for me. So there you go.
Yeah.
Tanya.
Yes.
I know you're not sleeping. If you're sleeping, I'm going to drive up to Beckley and wake you up. Hey, let me ask you a different question. If you had a wish list and you woke up tomorrow, it was under your Christmas tree, as it pertains to documents, what would that document be that would help you connect the dots?
Oh, dang it. You gave me a hard one to answer.
Yeah, he's good at doing that.
Let me give you a clue. Prior 1965.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the be able to get his juvenile records and see if he had anything to in his history as a juvenile, because I believe that it actually started when he was younger.
I'm going to do a double down and we'll ask you another question. What's the body count in your mind?
In my mind, I was thinking 300, but that was just in the United States, but I was considering more than that because I know that he didn't stop when he was in other countries.
Okay. And then Melissa Rose?
Yep.
Here's your question. You ready?
Yep.
If you had one piece of technology, because I know what you're doing behind the scenes, and you're carrying the load, right?
Right.
If you had one piece of technology or one trick that would help you assimilate this, what would it be?
Again, it would be a ready-made DNA profile. I know it's very expensive for the cold case units to build that if they don't have it. And I know there's a lot of comments asking, well, if the DNA is, old or they're not able to use it, they can still take a fragment of that now and develop it. And that's the piece of technology that we would need, I think, on a lot of these because it's been so long, right? We're looking at almost 60 years. And then also, I think, to answer the question you gave to Tanya about the documents, there is one document in his military records that hones in, it focuses in on the 2 weeks in middle March of 1971, when the Zodiac wrote the Pines card and he wrote the LA Times letter. And literally those 2 weeks are in his military records, but they were after he was transferred to Texas. But my theory is that they flew him back to California. They put him in temporary military housing in Dublin at Commodorski Village for the 2 weeks of his training, because it was a mechanic training. It was structural and hydraulic training. And if we can find somebody in NCIS or the Department of Defense that can corroborate that and confirm the location, because of course that is conveniently missing, is the location in his record. This would be the nail in the coffin. And it would also convince the rest of the Zodiac sleuth community, quote unquote, gatekeepers, toward our suspect.
Good answer. Susan, I wanted to bring you up. You've been here the whole broadcast. Thank you.
Yes.
How are
Well,
you?
thank you. I'm doing great. I thought of something. I'm one of these crime junkies as well. I have ID Discovery on my TV going 24/7. Even if I'm not home, my dogs listen to it. But I was wondering, could you bring this case to like People Magazine? Because they're on ID all the time and they do their own investigation as well. Try and sell this to them. And then give them all your information and let them go from there. Is that a possibility?
It's definitely a possibility. And thank you for that advice. I would say that it takes more than just us. It takes a community to knock on these doors. I would say, like I said before, speaking to the host, sometimes it takes certain people in certain positions because, just like when you get into court and you're mad about something and you're yelling and screaming and whatever, and you're emotional, you sound crazy. You sound like a crazy person. Well, we're passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? We need to take emotion out of it. And that's what we need, is somebody to take the emotion out of it and be the professionals that they are to make that connection. And it takes time, and we've been patient along this journey, but we just, like I said, we're not trying to force nothing. We get nowhere with that method.
And
Exactly. But if you could pique somebody's interest at People's Magazine, maybe they would, take all your information and start doing their own legwork and.
I agree. And what it takes is to be able to get that meeting. And if I send them an email and lay some stuff out there, it's not my first time. We get ignored. But just, you brought up ID channel. When we were at CrimeCon, the ID channel was having a private party at CrimeCon. There was 20 people they invited, and they invited me and my team, and they did an interview with me, and it has not been brought out yet, but stay tuned.
Awesome.
Hopefully they investigate it, but you know what? We are so involved in this. We feel that we don't want to just hand this over and be left behind. And that's part of the reason why we did this, is because, the credit that my wife did, and Voices for Victims, and Rick McBain, and the support that surround us, being the guardrails as we went down that path to protect this story and protect us all. I mean, there's a lot of gratitude, there's a lot of respect, and there's a lot of appreciation to this. And I think that they all deserve recognition for what they've done.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's life doesn't guarantee you everything. So that's why we didn't take a book deal. We didn't want to make it about money, and it's not.
No. Like you said earlier, it's about closure for the families, closure for, you and your team, and just make people aware, So I totally understand that. But, and how did the meeting go with ID at CrimeCon?
Well, it went really great. My team got to hang out with Hugh Hefner's ex-wife, so that was kind of cool. We got free drinks and food, so no, we got to hang out with them. They went out of their way to invite us because they walk by and they, you can't deny what you see. It's indisputable. It's undeniable, and people that see it with their own eyes and hear it with their own ears, and that's what it takes to somebody and that's why we presented ourselves. We kind of flanked CrimeCon with what we did. I don't think they expected what we were going to put together in such a short period of time, and what we did. I think
you've done an amazing job. Just.
I appreciate that, and I'm the guy behind the scenes orchestrating a lot of it. My wife is behind the scenes, financing and managing a lot of it. I'm blessed to have my life this way, and everybody that's coming together. But I've learned a lot of patience along the road, and I've ate a lot of humble pie, and I give a lot of grace and to people. So I just want to land this plane, whether there's wheels on it or not. We want to make this happen. And but yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. And we've been down that road. And I'll tell you, we were in California on our way to Harvey and TMZ, and we ended up an hour on the wrong side of Hollywood. So we decided to stop and have dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe, and then luckily we got out of town that night because the next night it was going to be crazy with the World Cup going on, so we're like, so we missed that plane, but we missed that one, so who knows, I know I've heard of, Harvey and his team wanting to pay these ransoms and stuff like that. So, I mean, if this was put in his hands, would he be able to help fund us and put together a crowdsource of some sort and GoFundMe? to make this happen. I mean, that's possible.
Yes.
We just need that. We need the right time, the right moment to make it happen with the right person, and to make it happen. So, but I everyone can email people. Everyone can send out letters or whatever, and everyone has that opportunity, but I do believe that everyone needs to wrap their mind around what we have and know what we have and believe what we have. And I think that's what it takes is, seeing it, hearing it, believing it, and it takes time. And that's it being one of the most complicated cases in American history that just so happens to be in our lap. But we want to share it. We want to share what we have, and we just want to make it happen.
Well, hey, I'm behind you all the way, and so far you have done a bang up job, and I commend you all for it. Good work.
Thank you.
She's another real deal in here. She'll call you out if it's junk science. Susan will be the first to say, that dog don't hunt.
Well, I will tell you this one thing, J Crime. Tomorrow I will be sending some emails to, ID and see what I can come up with. Tell them that I found you and I'm interested in this case and see where it leads. Doesn't hurt to put things out there. So that'll be on my list first thing in the morning. So got something I want to say real quick, Jamie, before I don't like to interrupt, but we have 74 people in this room. If all 74 people, if y'all would just email Cash Patel, say, hey, look at this. This guy's got a suspect, and just flood his emails. I think we might be able to get something done that way too.
I've always dreamed about walking in the White House, whether which side it is. We need somebody like him would be amazing, but if we can't get to him, we need to get to somebody else. Somebody's got to listen. There's somebody out there.
Oh, yeah, there's somebody. We just got to keep sending these